This is a moment right now in life, Chris, that we will never get back. At least arguably the past year, the past few months, the past month, the past week, days. Chris, have you seen Avengers Endgame yet?
Not yet.
When are you seeing it?
I'm planning.
You don't have to give a specific day or date. You can give like tomorrow, day after, or whatever.
Yeah, probably tomorrow. That's what I'm shooting for.
Okay. My wife and I as well are seeing it tomorrow, and I have to wait until 9:30 at night before I get to go see this movie. But that's okay. I've waited a lot. I feel like I had to wait longer for Infinity War.
Yeah.
I guess because the anticipation. If you want to do a quick Google and see when did Age of Ultron come out, and then when did Infinity War come out? Because I think that's the arguable length of time. I'm gonna say it was more than a year, which is all we've had to wait for between Infinity War and Endgame.
All right, so Age of Ultron was May 1st, 2015.
Okay. And then Infinity War was like April or May of last year.
April 27th, 2018.
Yes. So that's a bit of time as opposed to, hey, Infinity War is over. You only got to wait 1 year. And I swear, somebody out there do it. Please do it. I bet money we can go back a year from around this time, and I'm going, oh man, I can hear myself. Oh man, I gotta wait for a whole year. That time's gonna go by so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. And I realize, look, I'm stealing this kind of from Michael P. Huber, but he is an influencer. He's one of many influencers in my life. A YouTuber can be an influencer, people. That they totally can. And I remember, again, recalling him and Kyle Bossman talking years ago about going internet dark and tuning out the world when something big happens and you don't want to be spoiled. And I remember him saying, like, this is a moment in time. And for those that don't know Michael Huber, I mean, okay, look, I don't know the guy. I just know him from his YouTube channel and his personality, but he is a very excitable person. And to hear Michael Huber talk is like hearing me on speed. So, and hearing me even more excitable, it's quite possible. And that's him. He's just a fucking engine of joy and anticipation. And hearing him say stuff like this, it might kind of glance off you, but I really keyed in on that statement because it's true. It's a legitimate fact. There is a moment right now, if I look at the time, so it's about 4:30 local my time. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 24. So I'm 29 hours away from seeing this movie. I know nothing. I've only seen the very first trailer to Endgame, the very first one ever released, and that's it. I will admit the internet has not been kind, and I've seen a couple. I remember I was talking about scrolling past Facebook posts and scrolling past, like seeing something come up and going, nope, swipe it away. I've seen what I guess is like a newer costume for some of them. I've seen some stuff, but nothing spoiler yet.
Sure.
And that aside, even that's not even the focus here. The focus in his statement is you are at a moment of, I am in a moment of anticipation right now. I am hyped. I am excited. I have tuned the world out, so I don't know. I mean, millions of people have seen this movie by now, and I guarantee it's going to be great, but there's probably 10 out of 10 reviews. I don't know. I haven't read any of them. I know nothing. I am in my own little bubble of anticipation. I mean, at this present time, me and you are sharing, anticipation, but I am anticipating this movie, and it's like it's a hunger. It is an excitement. It is. Oh, I can't wait to see this thing. Tomorrow, once I finally see the movie, that's gone. I'll never get that back. That for this movie.
Sure.
I'll be in a different mind state, though. I mean, I will have seen it and will have reveled in the, oh man, did you see this and this and this and this and this and this was great and this was great. And I mean, I'll be in all of that. Yes, yes, yes. But who knows, man? Weeks, months it may take. Once all that wears off, and we're talking maybe even a year or so down the road. That's it for that movie, man. That's it. I really I understand, respect, and appreciate people that set out in lines years ago waiting for, the next Star Wars or the first Star Wars, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. This is an event. This is a moment in time. And I get it. I completely get it. Man, who knows what the MCU is going to do, man? We're hoping, we say it in jest, but I really do hope that the X-Men are coming back, whether that's 2 years from now or 10 years from now. I hope that this was just like Arc 1. I hope this was just the Thanos arc. And then in 2029, you'll hear me and Chris gabbing on about, oh man, fucking Avengers, X-Men, Final Stand. I can't wait. 22 movies in the making, who knows?
Yeah.
But as of right now, I am waiting the hours until I can go see the culmination of a 22 movie series, not including the TV series as well. I mean, this is a big thing, man. And something I noticed, hello everyone and welcome to the end of time. I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the Marvel cast. We ain't even seen the fucking movie, but you're about to get 6 hours of gab about Marvel. No, I kid. We got some stuff to talk about. I know you definitely do. Yeah. I have tried. So here's some stuff that I did in my personal life. I think I mentioned this last time too, but in case I didn't. So I have all the Marvel movies. So all of my DVDs on my shelf are all in ABC order. The MCU has a whole entire section of that shelf to itself, and it's just all those movies. So I got all the ones that I can. Of course, fucking Captain Marvel, I can't get that yet, but I've got all those movies there. I ripped them all, and I made a bunch of thumb drives to give to people at work and say, hey, if you have not caught up on the MCU, or you want to watch them because you haven't watched any of them, here you go, take them. You can copy them, you can watch them and give them back. I don't care what you do, but if you want to get in on this, here you go. And everybody took one. Some people are like, yeah, I haven't watched this and that. Some of them are like, no, man, I've got over half of them I got to watch. The weird thing is, even to this day, and man, I'm gonna loop fucking Game of Thrones right in with this. Even to this day, Chris, believe it or not, there are still people that are like, what are y'all talking about? The fuck do you mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about the MCU. Wait, are you talking about those like Thor and Iron Man, those comic book movies? I'm like, you're saying this like it's a bad thing. Yeah, I'm not going to watch that. It's superheroes and comics. Come on. And I'm like, man, do you watch Game of Thrones? Well, yeah. What? What is your deal? You'll turn your nose up to this, and here's the thing. This is like this silent, like, what the fuck about all that, is that they have written these movies for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I'm a surface dwelling comic guy at best. Most of my knowledge of the X-Men comes from the fucking cartoon. So when you start spouting facts to me, I don't know. But even I got stuff out of them. I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris. Who the fuck are the Guardians of the Galaxy to me? I've barely saw Star-Lord in media before.
I had never heard of Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie, ever.
Yeah, I knew who Rocket Raccoon was just because he's a fucking raccoon, and and I'm talking very surface level, like glanced some pictures of Star-Lord here and there. I didn't know his name. 1, 2, I had no idea how he played in the Marvel universe. It doesn't matter. I know how he plays in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know who he is, what his motivation is, what his character's like. I know what the fucking talking tree is like. I know what a thunder god is like. These movies are not just for fucking nerds, man. Mm-hmm. They're not just for comic people. They're not for regular non-comic nerds. They're not for nerds, period. These movies are written where everybody can walk away going, wow, or, oh man, that was horrible, or wow, remember that moment, or oh man, I've never laughed that hard in my life. It's crazy to me, man. This is like a culmination that the world needs to get involved in. You know, I feel like there are hits out there, but not every hit is hitting where it needs to. You know, I've talked to people who say, yes, I am caught up on Game of Thrones. I have been and am going to watch it every Sunday. I'm a little loose on the story, but I fucking love Game of Thrones. I don't watch the MCU. I don't watch comic book movies. And you find some people that are like, yeah, I'll watch Game of Thrones. Yeah, I'll watch Marvel. I'm not playing Witcher 3. I'm not playing Mass Effect. Why would I play that? It's just, this is where I feel as a gamer I have failed in life, that I have not pushed enough proper things out into the world. Mm-hmm. You know, Chris, I think me and you did a pretty good job. I think the End of Time cast has done a pretty good job. We made a list of games that we think people should play, and that's something. That's a start. But I hate to have this fucking roller coaster of emotion right now, but it's just it really does bug me. It honestly does bug me when somebody can list off, oh yeah, I watch this show and that show, and I binge watch this, and I watch this every week, I watch this every month, I catch all this when it comes out, and they hear video game and they're not interested. And for some reason they hear comic books and they're not interested. And it's like, man, it's not even about the comic books, I promise you. They just visually look the same. There are all sorts of things in these movies that don't line up. Well, like what? Well, hold on now. I'm not the world's greatest comic book guy. Don't ask me. I don't know. But I do imagine there's a bunch of things that are wrong in these movies. But that doesn't matter.
Right.
Furthermore, I wonder, okay, this is definitely something for the audience to write in and tell about. Please, if you fit in this category, let us know. When Chris and I, or me, Chris and Adam, or any gamer talks about a video game movie, it is extremely hard to point out one that's good, one that fits the bill, I guess. If I had a gun to my head, I would say Mortal Kombat, but that doesn't really count for what I'm about to say, because Mortal Kombat, the movie, doesn't exactly follow the canon of Mortal Kombat. Silent Hill. I honestly never played the first Silent Hill. I know that Pyramid Head from the second Silent Hill somehow made his way into the movie. I don't know how. What I do know is that Silent Hill felt creepy, kind of like the game felt, so I guess that's kind of a win. Mm-hmm. But there is no like, hey man, you want a fucking video game movie? Go check out blank. They did such a good job of translating the characters, translating the lore, making you feel like it was a actual video game movie. As much as I shit on the Doom movie, I mean, it did have that first person sequence for a little bit, but that movie is fucked up in so many other ways that does not make up for it. But so us here at the End of Time cast and many gamers around you, audience, will tell you, nah, ain't no good video game movies. Well, and then the people that don't play games might have watched these movies. I've heard people say shit like, the Assassin's Creed movie was really good, or yeah, the Silent Hill movie was really good. Honestly, haven't heard too many people say that about Street Fighter and Mario. Thank God. But there are people out there that watch that and go, man, look, I didn't play Assassin's Creed, so I thought the movie was really cool. Okay. Or I didn't play Prince of Persia, but I thought the movie was really good. Okay. So what I wonder is, what if you audience are or know someone who is a comic book aficionado, a comic book lover, someone who steeps himself in the lore, what do you or what do they know because you've talked to them feel about the MCU? You know, is it do y'all kind of give them the good fucking elbow, like, you know what, you only got like 30% of the story comic book accurate, but you made the characters feel like what they were supposed to, and that's what counts. Mm-hmm. I'd love to know that. I really would. A good YouTube search might find that, but I'd rather talk to my audience. I'd like to hear your opinions on this, your thoughts on this, because again, I read some comics. Chris, what is your comic book history, man? Did you grow up reading them? Did you have stacks of them? Did you kind of glance off them
almost
here and there?
Nothing.
Like almost nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. My parents didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't really get comic books. I got comic books from friends, and it may not be this way. I'm sure the audience can correct me where I'm wrong, but I kind of treated comics like wrestling, because I was into wrestling for a while, and it took me a while to get spun up on everybody's arc, everybody's story. Once I, stave off for, a year or two, I tried to get back in. It was like, oh man, who are these 20 new people? What's going on here? And it's like, oh, you got to get caught back up. That's kind of how comics was. But comics for me had the added bonus of, they've been going on for decades.
Yeah.
Decades. So as much as I would love to know and be able to regurgitate all the backstory of Logan or Remy or Apocalypse or fucking Groot, I didn't, because I didn't have that background. I didn't have the knowledge, and definitely didn't have the money to get comics. So I would say in my lifetime, I've owned maybe 20, 30 comics, and they were mostly handed down from somebody else. Like, I remember having a bunch of Uncanny X-Men, and they were mainly X-Men. I had some X-Forces here and there, but I have a very... I watch back issues. I watch Comic Pop, and I gain my knowledge from there. That's where my knowledge comes from. Mm-hmm. But I watch these movies and go, man, fucking Civil War as just a movie? Hell yes. Captain America, Winter Soldier as just a movie, given everything that I know about Captain America from the previous movies to include Captain America? Hell yes. I'm sure comic book lovers could look at those movies and tear them to pieces, just as I can watch Hold on, let me try that again. Just as I can watch Oh, man. Woo! This is rough. Just as I can watch Super Mario Brothers and tear that to shreds. But come on. I could stack the quote unquote, but I could stack Thor 2 up against Mario and go, come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. So yeah, I feel that a lot of love has come in to the MCU. Mm-hmm. Maybe not accuracy. Maybe just the love and the spirit is there. And I'm hoping for comic book critical people that has been enough. If it hasn't, I will politely sail my boat another way away from you and say that I'm sorry. You have the complete right to look down on me with disdain. I get it. I understand. I love Iron Man 1. You hated Iron Man 1 and wrote a 26-page thesis on how incorrect that movie was in showcasing Tony, showcasing his Iron Man suits, showcasing his background, his history, all that. And I get you, brother or sister. I get you. But I'm in this boat going that way. Mm-hmm. That's the river of I like these movies.
Yeah,
I understand you, because when somebody comes with me and goes, bruh, what do you mean Doom was bad? It had The Rock in it. That movie was horseshit. Nah, man, that was a good movie. Oh, I can't.
I don't think I've heard anyone talk about the MCU in terms of inaccuracy in a real negative way. If anything, it's just like a casual conversation, like, yeah, that was awesome, but this is how it was in the comic. And it was like, this is better, or maybe it was worse, but it was just kind of a straight up comparison, not like shitting all over it.
Yeah. And I feel that people just like you and me, we are at least in this network of people. You know, I know a lot of what the world just trumpets now. I know a lot of nerds. I know a lot of gamer people. I know a lot of comic people and a lot of anime people, a lot of D&D people, and all those categories that people still want to bubble people into. I know a lot of different varieties of those types of people, and I'm really not exaggerating here, Chris. I can't think of anybody that I've had a one-on-one in real life personal conversation with where they said, hold on. Let me sit you down there, buddy, and tell you about the Doctor Strange movie. No, I haven't had that. And I don't know. It's either one. I mean, if I'm thinking about what could it be, it's either I don't know enough comic book people, which, maybe, or those movies have done such a good job of patting Marvel on the shoulder and going, I got you, man. We're gonna do you a solid. And again, you don't have to look far. You really don't. You can look at the Street Fighter movie. You can look at Mortal Kombat. You can look at House of the Dead. You can look at Assassin's Creed. You can look at, the list goes on. And it's like, you took the meme face idea of what this game means and try to make money off of it, as opposed to sitting down, playing the game and going, bruh, they wrote the script for this. We don't have to do shit. We just got to translate it to characters and have characters act and emote. So I don't know. And I'm still waiting. For the movie that's going to just go, finally they got it. Because I guarantee you right now, Sonic the Hedgehog is not gonna do that. Pokemon, Detective Pikachu. Hey man, it looks the Pokemon look pretty cool. They have some details, yes, but that's not what I want. I want Pokemon lovers to go to this movie and walk out, and I want their opinion, because I'm not steeped in it. I don't know. Now, if I go watch the Detective Pikachu movie and I walk out and go, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was a pretty good story. I enjoyed it. Maybe that counts. But, dude, the MCU has 22 fucking movies as of now. 22 movies. And if you ask me what's the worst, I don't even know that. But it's going to be like, and Thor look, Ragnarok. If I tell you this title, okay, Thor, okay, again, that's fine. I'm just in another boat, man. I'm just in another boat. But luckily, you and I are going the same river. I'm just in a different boat than you.
Sure.
But even if I point fingers to a movie that I say, oh, it's the worst of the MCU right now, of the Thanos arc, it's still, yeah, but it was okay. No movie I could think of was like, oh, God, Mario the movie. Oh, what a pile of shit. Yeah, still waiting on the video game one. What's some more that are coming, Chris? I think there was talks of a Call of Duty movie coming, a Halo movie. I believe.
Halo movie. That's the one video game movie. That's the one. I guess universe. Kind of. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm really interested in the Halo universe, so I'm really interested in seeing that. Forward Unto Dawn, I enjoyed. I thought that was really good, really captured game and book kind of stuff. So if they can translate that into a straight up movie, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did not pull up any news today yet. If you have some, please. But I could have swore I saw some kind of article like a week or so ago that was like, here's this actor. He is the face of Master Chief.
Yeah.
And I saw that and went, why? You are already showing me before I even see a trailer to the movie that you don't get it. Now, Chris, you're more steeped in Halo than I was. I've dropped off way before you did. I kind of believe that there was a couple Halo games where they showed, John Spartan before he became a Spartan, maybe. And if that's the case, if it's showing like it, okay, if Halo movie comes out, it is 2 hours long, and you get to see John without his helmet for 17 minutes because that was his origin arc, I can understand that. Mm-hmm. But if it's the damn near the whole movie and he puts his helmet on when he goes into combat, nope. I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want that. But it makes sense. Again, Chris, I defer to your knowledge, man. Wasn't even in the books, like once he was in that armor, he was in that armor?
No, that's kind of something that was kind of perpetuated by the first couple of games, that you never saw him out of his armor, but in the books, they're frequently in civilian clothes, whether they're undercover which is very hard for them to be undercover in general, given their size. Yeah. But, if they're trying to not stand out and not be obvious Spartans, that's been a thing. They do spend a majority of their time in their armor. If they're on a mission, they don't leave it, unless absolutely necessary. Of course. Yeah. Game-wise, in the last one, it was either the last one or the second to last one. At the end, they actually show like a slit of bridge of the nose to above the eyebrows of John, and that's kind of like the first time a game has shown any part of his face, and it wasn't even the whole thing. So it does have, from the game sense, sure, that's the thing, but I don't care. That's just a little game thing that has popped up kind of unintentionally. They never really... I'd have to go back and refresh my memory, but I don't think they ever really made that a big deal. That's just something that the fans have made a big deal. So
yeah. I mean, if it's me being whiny, then it's me being whiny. But I think it would. I think that would be a solid meat. Have him an origin story, and then have him in his iconic armor all the fucking time. That way, it's Master Chief that's present, not just John. I don't know. It just depends on it. Really all depends on what the movie's going to be like.
And it's kind of funny you're talking about that. And I just had a thought. It's kind of, there's two different audiences for this movie. There are the video game players, and then there are the Halo franchise people like me. I've read every book. I got to finish the last one still, but I own it.
In essence, you're like the Star Wars. You're like Adam for Halo. You've played the Halo games, but you've read the books too. So like, let me tell you some extra universe shit that you need to know about. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will. I don't know jack shit about the Halo movie, so it's again, all I've seen is that. I've seen no trailer, heard no plot items. So that's a we'll see.
I'll put it this way. I didn't even read that article. I saw the little headline and the little picture next to it. I didn't even bother reading it because the Halo movie has been talked about for so long that until I see, it's going to be in theaters in like a month. Okay, sure.
Right. And folks, I believe we may have already done one, but we could totally do another one, and we could have this whole episode could be no weeks, and Chris and I could list off a plethora of video games that could be turned into a movie. But it's just waiting. I have honestly lost a lot of hope that this is going to happen. I don't know what it's going to take, but I've said it once, multiple times. I'll say it again. I cannot wait until the video game world gets their MCU. If we get a series of games, I don't know what games they could be, but if we get a series of movies based off games, and I can walk out of that theater and go, honestly go, you know what? they got this detail wrong. That's not how he met her. That's not how this thing happened, and definitely not how this meteor came to be. But that was a really good fucking job. Like, I felt the spirit of the game in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need. That's what I really need. Not yet. Marvel, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Oh, man. All right, Chris.
All right.
Do we have any news tidbits before we roll into the weeks?
Let's see. So, a couple of things we can talk about with Persona 5.
Yes.
We got information on Persona 5S and Persona 5 The Royal. Persona 5 The Royal, which I've heard people say The Royal, but I thought it was just Royal, so I don't know which it is. I didn't fact check myself on this before starting to speak, so either way. So it is a enhanced version of Persona 5. Basically, there's a new character, so we're going to get everything that a new character would involve. You know, that's a party member. So a new palace, I'm guessing. I don't know if they actually said a new palace or not. There's like a new area in town. There are new confidants, so you have all that confidant interaction to go through is new. And anything else, there are new persona. I don't know if there are new persona. I mean, I imagine there's at least one new persona for the character, but I'd imagine there are some new personas, maybe. That's a guess. I don't have anything to back that up. But there are some new attacks. I don't know how attacks are defined in the sense if it's specifically new persona abilities, new player, or new character-based attacks. I don't know how is that defined in this context. So it's going to be a bunch of new stuff, and it will be, at the very least, a good reason to go back and enjoy the game again.
Right. I think this is all great news, and I think the only big question in the air is going to be, well, should I wait for this new version? I've never played Persona 5. That depends. It really depends.
I'd say yes.
Persona, yeah. When is the release date? Did they give one yet?
It is December of this year for Japan, and 2020 next year for everyone else. They didn't give a date for everywhere else yet.
Let's even spitball and say January. That's a hope and a prayer. January of 2020. Folks, this episode is coming out. This is like the tail end of April. Chris says, yeah, I would say no. I would not. I would say no, don't wait. If you can wait, if it's passing enough for you, yeah. If you can, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, that's already 8 months. January, at a minimum of 9 months away. That Persona 5 is too good. So, my hat's in the don't wait. Go out and get that shit.
Here's one of the main reasons I say to wait. You have to be the type of person that is willing to go through it twice. And that depends on, how much of it you're going to do. Are you going to 100% it when you play it? Then you probably want to wait, because then you are going to have to play through everything again, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but whether or not, as far as enjoyment, but whether or not you want to devote that time to it. Do you want to save your time now and just spend that 100+ hours once? Or do you want to... My concern is that the second time, and I'm sure I'm going to do this, it's just going to be rushing through everything that was already done the first time. So you're kind of not gaining anything by doing it now, other than you're literally getting to enjoy it now. But it's, depends how much or what your mindset is when it comes to things like that and replaying games.
And there's also... I do not have it in my head, especially after playing. Well, I gotta careful there, Michael. You did not play the original Persona 3 and then went back and played the additions. You didn't play the original P4 and then went back and played the additions. But so I'm gonna say this as a strong feeling that Persona 5, this Switch version, this new version, is not going to rewrite the canon and ending canon of the game. It may be just additional stuff. Sure. If they produce I mean, come on, man. You and I have beat this game. What are they going to do to top all that? And I'm talking about all of that end game stuff. The bosses, the mini bosses, the lead up, everything. So if you're worried about, well, I want to play this version because I want to play the complete version, you're playing the complete version in that they're going to add some more characters and stuff. But as far as the totality of the story, I'm pretty strongly, positively sure you're going to get that with the original P5. Yeah, but I do see your point. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people, not everybody's like me and wants to put 726 hours into a game. I exaggerate. That was like 2,000 hours. But yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. I just, again, if you've been hanging on to a thread this long, go play the fucking game. All right, just go do it. It's great. It's a seller.
Yep. So
also, go ahead.
I was gonna move on to Persona 5S.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I got one more Persona thing after this.
Okay, sure. So Persona 5S. There was talk about it's just a Switch port, etc. It is not. We also received information that it is a Musu. Is that how you pronounce that?
Muso, I think.
Muso. Action RPG. So it's basically Persona cross with Dynasty Warriors type game. Which...
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, they did it with Hyrule Legends or Hyrule Warriors. So, yeah sure. Okay. You have lots of characters. Go for it.
Yeah, I still haven't played Hyrule Warriors, so I don't really have a good basis to compare to that. But, I mean, it's more Persona. So I'm curious to kind of see how they execute it. Because I watched a little bit of a clip, and it showed, like, them in the city. And their... What's it when they're in their outfit? Their Phantom Thief outfit, basically.
Yeah.
And just waves of enemies, and them and Joker and his persona, just killing swaths of enemies. Which, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. Your power-up moves are summoning personas. Mm-hmm. Done. Awesome. I'm sorry, audience. You get to hear the disgusting sounds of me eating Jolly Ranchers. Mm-hmm. I've had a long day. I need my candy today. I'm sure you heard about it, and we're not going to spend a great amount of time on it, but Joker coming to Smash Brothers Ultimate. What I've enjoyed about this the most from what I've heard is that they've shown a lot of Persona love, and that's awesome. Mm-hmm. There's a stage for them, and it's almost a Mementos type area, but the color can change depending on what type of music, but depending on what Persona music is playing. They have Persona music, from what I understand, from Persona 3 and 4 and 5, so the backgrounds will change color based on that music in accordance with the color schemes of those specific games. They've shown a lot of love. Just that's the gist of it, and I've really enjoyed hearing this. I've heard people make bold claims like they've shown the most love for Joker than they've showed for almost any other character in this game, and that's good to hear. I mean, come on, Cloud, Solid Snake. I think everybody should get a lot of love, but
yeah,
definitely good that somebody. I mean, loosely saying this, for somebody out of the blue like Joker from Persona 5, a PlayStation 4, 3 and 4 exclusive so far, it's nice to hear that them coming over here wasn't just hand waved.
Yeah.
Just like...
Yeah, I watched a little bit of a video of, people using Joker and stuff, and they were playing on the Memento stage, and the stage looks amazing. It is very well done. And they had, of course, because of, how typical Let's Plays and stuff are, the game audio is usually pretty low, especially the music. So I had to crank the video up and be like, okay, now shut up so I can listen to this. And I heard that Persona 5 music, and I was like, yeah, this is the life.
Oh, man. Seeing that, I forget the actual condition. I guess it's if Joker does get a smash as a finish, he does a fucking Persona 5 victory lap. Oh, that was like...
I haven't seen that. I need to go watch that.
Bravo. So yeah, just wanted to make a shout out. I do have Smash Brothers Ultimate. It was a gift. It was a Christmas present gift given to me. And over time, I will. I actually don't know. I believe you have to buy the DLC packs. I would assume you'd have to, but out of support alone, just for Persona 5, I will probably buy all those packs just to fill out that roster. So
yeah,
I haven't physically played it. Yeah, haven't physically played it yet. And honestly, even when I do see every other fighting game thing I've always mentioned, I respect these games from a distance, but once I do everything that needs to be done, I'll probably bounce off of it. So yeah, some good Persona stuff happening. Awesome.
Moving on from Persona, the Magic the Gathering, Magic the Gathering had an expansion, but in particular, I'm referring to Arena when I talk about it, but this also applies to Paper Magic. The latest expansion, War of the Spark, which has an awesome trailer, went live yesterday, April 25th. I will be opening all my packs I purchased for that tonight after we record. The timing didn't quite work out. But yeah, this is the first time I've really been interested in Magic lore because of that trailer and some of the discussion that was going on at the Mythic Invitational a couple weeks ago. I'm looking forward to the cards. There are some new mechanics. I'll probably talk about this more next week once I have more hands-on. But it is live, so Arena's free. Go play, get free cards, and play free Magic and enjoy.
But Chris, I don't play any of these card games. Is this
Doesn't matter.
How am I gonna know? How am I gonna know what to do?
So the game actually has a pretty good tutorial that gives you a basic understanding of it, and I haven't seen it hands on yet. But my understanding is that they added stuff in this expansion of that. I need to actually go look up patch notes and stuff and hopefully be more educated about it next week to give more details. But there is literally no reason not to play. Unless you just absolutely hate having fun, you know?
I love it.
You don't have to spend a dime unless you want to. And I put nothing into it, and then I bought their little $15 welcome pack or whatever it was, or $5. I think it was $5, and then there was another pack that was $15. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Because I'm putting hours and hours in this game, and then War of the Spark, they had a $50 50 pack plus some other stuff bundle, and I was like, yeah, you guys are fucking nailing it. Of course I'm going to spend this $50 to buy some virtual cards I don't really care about because I want to keep this going. So
it's good. Good stuff.
So a little bit of, we kind of went up with the news, and let's talk about something really interesting, maybe a little more negative. So Mortal Kombat 11 just released, and there is already... Woohoo! The fervor around their microtransactions. I'll talk about this a little bit when it's my week, but I don't know much about how all the items you can get work, but one of the key things is none of it matters in ranked play. So it doesn't matter how much money you spend in ranked play, you're going to be the same as anyone else.
Right.
But there are cosmetics. There's apparently little... I don't know if they're quite buffs or just more like unlock additional movesets, or you have to earn and unlock, certain brutality or all brutalities and stuff like that. But the kind of the big thing around these unlocks is that someone posted on Reddit, as most news, tends to come from someone posting on Reddit, that it would cost like $6,400 to unlock everything in Mortal Kombat 11. I have personally mixed feelings about that, but without even getting into that, there was a follow-on article I saw about how you actually cannot buy everything that is in Mortal Kombat 11. You have to earn it via different ways, and they're addressing this already with looking to try to boost the rate you earn stuff. So it's another kind of, microtransactions, let's all just complain about them type thing, I think.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah, I have some people in my life circle that it seems like every other time I talk to them, no matter what game I bring up, it's either, man, I hope that game isn't going to be riddled with microtransactions, or yeah, man, the game was good, but once I found out it had microtransactions, I was not buying it at all. And I get it. I mean, to each their own. I just don't know if I would have that hardcore of a stance against it. I'm sure we've talked about this on an episode before, but if it's single player and it's cosmetic, or it's just advancement for in essence, think of using a fucking game genie. If it's you buying, if you're paying to win, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. If you're upset that this normal game is going to take you 60 hours to beat, but if you put in $100, it'll take you 30, that's on you. I mean, there's multiple ways to get to the end. You can just be better. You can find shortcuts. You can use guides. You can try other paths. I don't know. This is like a huge fucking nest of, there's other things to do. But if I played the game for 60 hours and Chris bought something and beat it in 30, what the fuck do I care? Why would I care if the option's there? Now, if it takes 60 hours to get an item, but I could pay $30 and get that item right now, and the only other way is to do this ridiculous, meticulous, slow, boring, repetitive, you just have to grind to get this thing, or you pay $10 and get it just instantaneously. That I do kind of have a problem with, because I feel like you kind of engineered that to do that. Would that make me not like the game if that is a lot to do with the game? Yeah, that I can understand. If it's multiplayer, pay to win, I'm not going anywhere near that. No, thank you. I don't want anybody having an option over me because they fucking make more money, or they just spend more money than me. I just can't. Yeah. I can't wrap my head around that. But if it's just a game where you can buy some extra stuff, just the fact that option is there does not bother me. As long as I can still have a good time in my game, I'm fine. And believe it or not, there are people out there who like to play games where all they do is grind. So, I mean, even me, I feel like I'm looking down on other people if I say it that way, but I'm not. But yeah, there are people out there that like to do that shit. So you don't want to grind for 60 hours for that item, you just buy it. Well, there's people out there that say, no, man, I want to do that. I like to do that. It's a lot to discuss with microtransactions, but I don't think it's a game killer. I don't think they're always game killers.
And a lot of what you just said basically goes back to our conversation about cheating. Do what you want on your game, but don't fuck with me.
Yeah. I mean, there's more to it. Again, this is a whole episode of discussion. There's there's some other points that have been brought up that are valid. There are ways to manipulate people that either I wouldn't even say have a gambling disease. I would say they just have a weakness. They're just susceptible. You put fucking delicious cake in front of somebody so much, eventually they're going to go, fuck it, give me that cake. It's not always somebody at home scratching their arm going, oh, but fuck it, it's just one mortgage payment. I'll just go ahead and buy that whatever skin. It's not always just that. It's here's all the glamour. We're having this big fucking party over here. You're over there in the dark, grinding in a dungeon for 12 hours a day. Have fun with that, bro. I get that. I get that manipulation. And if that was what the game was about, we talking multiplayer here? Then no. Single player? I have to weigh that. I have to weigh that. Microtransactions as a whole are not always a game killer to me. I believe that they are a open place for discussion. I get it. People have been burned by this. I get it. There are people out there that can't help themselves, and I do sympathize. I don't judge anybody. If you spent $1,700 on a video game because you just, it just got me. There's a fucking formula, and it was working, and it got me, man. I feel for you. Now, this game is horrible. Well, I played that game for 100 hours. I didn't buy one thing. I enjoyed it. So, subjective.
Yeah, that was one of the other talking points I heard recently. It's like, okay, you played the game, you thought it sucked, but you also bought everything with a credit card, so you kind of had nothing to do.
Yeah. Right. Believe it or not, challenge helps a video game succeed. There are different levels of challenge for people. There are, man, I feel like this is last week's episode all over again. But if somebody, I want somebody to challenge me on this. I guarantee you I will not disappoint you. You show me somebody that says, nah, I've played like maybe 5 video games in my life, but so-and-so had a PlayStation 4 Pro, he let me borrow it, and I played God of War, and I put that shit on the stupid easiest difficulty, and it took me less than 40 hours. I didn't even do everything in the game, but man, let me sit down and talk to you about how great this game was. You remember this part with Atreus, and this part with this character, and this clashing here? I didn't like this, I didn't like that, but I did like this. Man, I will be in fucking awe. That's I'm not gonna be like, well, wait a minute, you play it on the SIP. I don't fucking care what you play the game on, man. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you beat Devil May 3 on Devil May 3 on Dante Must Die, or Devil May Kree. Yes, that's no, I don't know if I want that one because it sounds like I'm trying to make some Overwatch reference. But yes, or you know what, the Kree, the Kree, I got that from that's on the Chris. Mm-hmm. Got bad, man. Got a bird. 24.
It all comes back to Marvel.
28 hours. 28 hours away. But yes, again, if I would not care if you beat Devil May Cry 3 on Dante Must Die mode or if you beat it on the baby basic bitch difficulty. I don't care. Did you play it? Yes. All right. You're already up the ladder. Did you enjoy it? Yes. You're further up the ladder. You want to talk about your bad points, the good points? You just want to talk about the game? Fuck yeah, I want to talk about this game. That's it. That's it. Nowhere in my conversation am I going to go, well, I mean, if you played it on this difficulty, what a fucking bad. I don't know. So yeah, yeah. If go pay to win if you want to, folks. Do it's your money, your game, your life. Do what you want, but understand that when the game has 20 challenges and you buy 19 of them, what are you really paying for the other ones for? It's just a question. It's not judgment. Just what are you doing? So, any other news points?
Those were the 4 things I had.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else that's hot news. I will shout out a couple other YouTube channels that I've subscribed to and had a chance to watch a lot of videos to. Raycevic is one, Raycevick or IK. I'm sure you can type half that name in and it will point you to him. Lots of good videos, lots of series retrospectives. Nakey Jakey, this guy is a fucking hoot and a holler. He's fucking pretty good. He's got a handful of videos that deal with real life stuff like relationships and whatnot, and those are actually very entertaining. I watched one where he was talking about dating, and he was he was talking about how dating's hard and what it's like to be in the dating scene and everything. And he goes, he was talking about, like, you know, things that to kind of not say, or, you know, how do you act when you're meeting somebody new? Like, what do you say? And what kind of pickup lines do you have or whatever? And he's like, I was in a coffee shop in Denver, and I said to this girl, and I quote, "I'm just tired of hanging out with my sister all the time." I just imagine somebody that being that fucking. He's like, I want to apologize to that girl who I tried to date. That's a bad thing to say. He needs better pickup lines. But that shit was funny. Mm-hmm. But he also has several video game movies, and not only are they entertainingly funny, but they're also very good. And Shiza, I'm watching his videos right now. Scott the Wise has this nerdy personality, but very funny and also very informative bunch of videos. So those are things that I've been watching recently, or YouTube personalities that I've subscribed to recently. One of those three, I don't remember if it was Racevic or Scott. I really don't remember. But they made a clear distinction that I can't believe I have not made myself. When you're talking about gamers, and I'll say you, I say me too. I did this too. I'm going to try to curb my statements to something else, because there's always been a big to-do between casual and hardcore. Mm-hmm. And one of those two made the statement of casual and dedicated. And I think I'm going to stick closer to dedicated. I feel like hardcore puts something out there that, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much about it. Maybe it's just too much in a word that isn't really there. But I would definitely consider myself more of a dedicated gamer than a hardcore gamer. I would need to sit down and put my thoughts on paper, what my distinctions would be. But I feel like dedicated seems a lot simpler to me. I think of hardcore as maybe somebody that just the achievement hunter, or the completionist, or somebody who damn near has made this shit a life career. Maybe that's, I don't know. It seems like dedicated to me is a more softer, more succinct title between casual and hardcore. I think I prefer dedicated. I don't know why I chose to spend 3 minutes on this. I just figured I'd put that out there. It's something for me to dissect, and maybe we'll have an episode or discussion about it. But yeah,
I can't remember. I can't remember what game it was from. I think it was a game. The settings were, it's basically, what kind of gamer are you? Casual, softcore, or hardcore?
Not a fan. I say we, Chris, you're probably doing this better than me, but I feel like I never get our weeks right, and I don't know if I'm ever going to, because I have a disease where if I'm given if I have to memorize two things and always differentiate between the two things, I always fuck them up. You and I are two people. Mm-hmm. We do weeks every week, and we start with one of us, and the next week we alternate. That's only two people, and every fucking episode, I'm like, oh shit, who did it last week? Who started last week? I should know this.
I believe we start with you this week.
Okay. All right.
I'll start adding it to my notes. Who goes first?
Yeah. Sorry you have to, but that's what being a good co-host is like, man. You gotta support. The producer needs some help now and again. If it's me, it's all the time. All right, so let's get some non-gaming shit out of the way. I'm literally pulling up my movies folder right now, And to this because my Audacity just shit itself for a hot second there.
Okay.
So let me just make this note real quick. Da 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 da. Behind the curtains, typing stuff. Da 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 da. This will be in the episode. Me singing. Comp fuck up. Maybe that'll be the title. And I spelt fuck up with 2 C's. Wow. Fuss up. Okay.
You're just on a roll.
Yep. So what are you telling me, Audacity? You're telling me that that Windows is so intensive that it opening a folder throws you off? Hey man, I'll buy it. Windows 10 is a beast, right?
I think you just have a PC problem.
It may be, man. Something I've been telling my wife, next couple years, I'm going to dump an embarrassing amount of money I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to do it smart, though. I'm going to have somebody help me and point, not only price-wise, but just intelligently. I'm going to grab some good shit, but I'm going to make a rig. I want a rig that's going to be the fuck. Because personal behind-the-scenes shit. I have never built my own computer from scratch. Chris, have you?
I've been building my own computer since I was 14.
Right. Chris has been doing it for a long time. Knows the ins and outs, knows all the little catches. I have been around people that do it. Matter of fact, one of my coworkers just built his first one, and he was like, man, honestly, the hardest part was just the wiring, the cabling, just snaking the cables where they need to go. I went to a website, I typed in everything I wanted, it matched everything up for me, so I didn't have to worry about compatibility issues. I watched tutorials on how to do it, and so I'm certain, I'm positive that I could build my own. But I have a really good friend, an acquaintance. I mean, it's a friend too. We talk. Hell, I've been on their channel before. And he is awesome when it comes to computers. Him and his father have a business, and he's a whiz at all that shit. And anytime that I've brought money to him and said, hey, I need a computer, he very handedly has built me computers, and it's been like, yeah, man, this is really fucking good, and it's in your budget. But even looking at them, it's always been budget. Of the levels of a GPU, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 3. The 3 is really fucking good, man. But I've never had the 5 stuff. I've never had the top. I don't have 2 fucking Titans in my computer. I don't have the processor that's coming out tomorrow in my computer. My computer's fucking great. It's stood the test of time for me for a good 5-6 years, if not more. Probably way more than that. But I've never been able to go here. I want the fucking beast. I don't have to have the beast. This computer does everything just fine, but this is just another little hiccup right here where if I do, I'd like to have something where I can not have my podcast flip.
I do, real quick, I do want to shout out a website.
Okay, go for it.
PCPartPicker.com. It has a system builder tool, and basically it's good for someone like me who I have a really solid idea of what I'm doing when I build, but I'll still throw it in here just to double check all the compatibility between the parts, and it'll also give a estimated wattage. So it's like, okay, well, how big of a power supply do I really need?
Yeah.
And I can even add on to it to go, okay, well, my initial build, I may be able to use a 500 watt, PSU, but when I add that as a video card, or I add more memory or more hard drives, how does this scale up? So I can go, okay, when this tower is full of parts, I'm going to need this size. So I'm going to start with that size, type thing. It's a really good website.
Yeah.
So
today,
also,
go ahead.
Also, the other thing about building a computer is, what my approach to it is, I've had the same tower I've been putting parts into for, a few years now. I want to say 4-5 years, but I don't think there's a single part in the computer except maybe a hard drive, and even that I think I just yanked out.
Yeah.
That has been there since that very first build.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I want to upgrade the graphics card. Okay, upgrade the graphics card.
Yeah.
You don't have to rebuild everything, you know.
Right.
So
I think
it's one of those things to kind of plan for.
See, oh man, this is like part 3 of our discussion for the week. This does not count toward my week, but I would obviously keep my hard drives because it has all my shit, my OS. I mean, I don't want to have to reload everything, so those would stay. Video card, it's a 1060. It's pretty fucking good, but I would like to have a beefier one. My motherboard has been the original motherboard since I bought this computer. It's a good motherboard. It's very good. It's held up this far. I'd like a better one. The processor, same processor since this PC was built. I would like a much better processor.
Yeah.
The RAM, I mean, I think I have more RAM than I need. So depending on what the motherboard could handle, maybe I'll keep the RAM or maybe I'll upgrade that as well. I get what you're saying. You know, you don't always have to just fucking R-square your entire computer. But
lately it's gotten kind of ridiculous, though, with the architecture changing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I want to put more RAM in my computer. Oh, it's really hard to find the type that fits with my motherboard now because they've gone, you know, up 2 tiers of technology.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm upgrading my motherboard. Oh, wait, that means my CPU isn't compatible anymore.
Right, yeah, and that's going to be the tricky part. That's the part where I really need... I will see if PC Part Picker is going to help me out on that or not, but that's where I need somebody to come in and go, wait. Here is a... Like, out of a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 8 when it comes to a motherboard. But... it's going to give you this and this and this, and this is going to fit, and this is going to work fine, and you don't have to worry about this, and you can use this. You can get this 10 out of 10 if you want to, but here's all these other problems you're going to have. That's where I don't have the knowledge. And you know what? Maybe I'll just pick your brain, Chris. Maybe I'll just use my brother as a PC champion. Maybe.
I mean, your mom already does, so.
No fucking doubt. Today's episode is sponsored by PC Part Picker. Actually, just going straight to the website, this does have the stuff that I'm looking for. I mean, it's got tabs at the top. You can do system builds, so you can just build your own shit from scratch. And I'm assuming that this is the kind of website that goes, okay, what are you looking for? Well, what about this motherboard? Okay, well, hold on. These are the only processors you can use, and this is the only this you can use. I imagine if it has compatibility issues, it will let you know.
Yeah.
It has build guides. It has completed builds, as in people have already made shit, put their shit online, and then you can look at them and go, hey, man, I fucking want that. That's tight. So yeah,
it also shows you as you pick parts what the price is, and it kind of defaults to what the lowest price is, and will tell you where.
Nice.
Or you can flip the drop down and put in your own price or whatever, so you can see how much they think you can build this for.
Yeah,
and you can fill in the blanks. You know, I got this on like a 30% sale, so it's not really costing me that much. So. Like I said, pretty useful.
I will definitely check this out. And you know what? Maybe this will finally be the time where I go, all right, from fucking bottom to top, I'm going to build this whole thing myself. I've kind of got it in my head that, I mean, it's not going to be an overnight thing. Even if I get all the parts here in one go, there's usually some type of compatibility thing. There's some type of this didn't load right. That was supposed to be there. I didn't put it there. I'm okay with that. I don't have to have my new computer overnight because I still got this one right here. So maybe I will. Maybe it's time for me to stop. I mean, dude, I'm a fucking aircraft mechanic and electronics technician. If I can't build my own computer, there's something wrong. The instructions are here and I've got resources. So yeah. And again, it's not, I just want to make it clear to you and the audience as well. Like, this is not me going, I just want to take $4,000 and say, fuck it. It's not that. It is the fact that high-end parts do cost money. And I've always had like middle to low tier. I'd like to just build a fucking monster. I don't have to have my new computer overnight because I still got this one right here. So maybe it's time for me to stop. I mean, dude, I'm a fucking aircraft mechanic and electronics technician. If I can't build my own computer, there's something wrong. The instructions are here. And again, it's not, I just want to make it clear to you and the audience as well. Like, this is not me going, I just want to take $4,000 and say, fuck it. It's not that. It is the fact that high-end parts do cost money. I've always had like middle to low tier. I'd like to just build a fucking monster. I remember my computer friend telling me all the time, it's like, man, I've had people come to me all the time and they say, here's $3,000. I want an Alienware so-and-go. And I give $2,000 back and go, I will just build you a laptop and you'll thank me later. And I build them a machine. You don't, it's just like, there's so many other things in life that this is as an exact point to, but you don't have to always throw lots of money at something. It's about picking what works, finding stuff on sale, but just realizing that, again, if you're going on like a 1 to 10 scale, man, a fucking solid 8 is a beast. Whereas a 10 is, I could have this thing thrown at a Pentagon if I wanted to. You know, it's not always about that. But yeah, I do plan on doing a computer thing sometime down the road. Right now, I'm just crossing my fingers. As long as this bad boy holds up, I am totally fine.
Yeah.
So now that 27 minutes of my week's out of the way, no, just kidding. I was trying to run through. Don't really have a lot for the movie section this year or this week. Sorry. Good God. Wow. 2019 is already over with, huh, Michael? Huh?
Yeah, it ain't even tomorrow yet.
Nope. I started to watch a movie, The Mortal Engines. I honestly made it about 15 minutes in and kind of got turned off of it. I thought the idea looked pretty cool, you know, a bunch of giant moving cities, a la Howl's Moving Castle, but I don't know, it just didn't really sit well with me. I watched Black Klansman, which is a Spike Lee film, and I mean, it had some funny moments, had some pretty good moments, but it was okay. I probably won't ever watch it again, but it was okay. And I actually think that's it for the movies. I did watch Tag. This is the movie about the grown adults that still play tag. They've had this, like, the world's longest running game of tag, and it was actually pretty funny. Has some pretty good moments in it, I will admit.
Sounds cute.
Yeah. One of the big gimmicks is there is a guy, there's like 5 or 6 friends, and there's the one friend that has never been tagged, and they go above and beyond some shit to play this game. Like, they will get hired at a business just so they can get close to somebody and tag them. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I'm a fucking liar, Chris, because I also watched The Meg, the movie about the giant shark, as a popcorn in your mouth throwaway flick. It was okay. Spoiler warning, I guess, for The Meg. Chris, do you plan on seeing The Meg? Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So
okay, it's
probably not. Jason
Statham. It's a movie about a megalodon, a giant fucking shark. Turns out that shark wasn't even the biggest shark out there. There was a bigger one, and I thought that was kind of cool. But I mean, the movie again is a very fucking popcorn flick, just once off, whatever. So yeah, that's it. I do have a shit ton of more movies. If I'm looking at, I've got a lot more movies to watch, but. Yeah. Only one real movie I'm worried about right now. Chris, if you can believe it, I did leave my Steam open. So
nice.
And I only have a couple games I really want to talk about. I want to finally put the proper name of this fucking game out there, because I feel I have done it an injustice, a disservice, since I have played it for quite a few hours and have not mention the proper name. Environmental Station Alpha is the name of this Metroidvania game. It's all these that I've mentioned are worth a shot. So is this one. It has all sorts of personal power-ups like a double jump, a grappling hook. It's Metroidvania through and through, and I'm enjoying it. So I keep saying that environmental game, whatever, because my Steam wasn't open. Now you know. That's it. Danganronpa. I played a little bit of that this week as well. I'm still going through it. This next one. So here's the thing. Stylistically concerning style, I would say this game has it on point. I've mentioned before that if you were a fan of the Persona looks, you're gonna get a lot of those here. Not exactly, but you're going to get, like, look, the menus kind of look the same. The way the characters talk. Like, they have 20 words in their sentence, but they verbally say the first 2 or 3 words. Like, there's a lot of Persona-isms in this game. What I did notice about the first and even the second trial is that, okay, especially with the first one, I figured out who the fuck the killer was. I figured out that there was a killer. Oh, okay, this isn't Obra Dinn. I'm sorry. I figured out who the killer was as soon as I saw the body. I was like, it's right there. It's blatantly right there. Now, a murder mystery or any kind of mystery like this, Chris, where you walk into a room and you go, huh? And they go, figure it out. And you have to spend time with people putting facts together and deliberating and bouncing back and forth. And then you collectively, as a group, come up with all evidence points to this. I'm all about that. I like that. That's great. But when you open the door, and I'm not saying this in an arrogant way, I'm saying it as in the way the game was designed. When you open the door and I go, oh, well, right there. That's what happened, and this is who did it. And then the next fucking 4 hours of people going, I wonder who could have did it. Let's talk about this. And where were you? And why did this happen this way? And I'm like, it's right there. I can't fast forward this. I can't skip this. I can't push a button to go, objection, this is what it is. You just have to play it out. So if I am putting a legitimate complaint up to what I have played so far in Danganronpa 1 is that, especially with the first mission, it's that first death is simple. It's blatantly simple. But I didn't see that. I didn't figure it out. Well, that's okay. That's fine. I can see how you possibly couldn't. I don't look down on people that don't get stuff right away. I actually envy you when you get that fulfillment, because I saw it and was like, oh, it's right there. The second death, I was like, this kind of that, maybe this. Oh, okay. Well, it's obviously this. It's going to be this. And that was a little later. That wasn't right away. That was when the facts started piling up. I started going, okay, that's obviously out of whack. That's obviously out of whack. Okay, it's going to put, this is how they die, and you're the one that did it. And then I only had to spend maybe about an hour of people going, yeah, I'm like, oh, fucking get to it. This is what happened. This one that I'm on right now the third one has a lot of variables. A lot of like, this shit went by really fast. That they went there, this happened. Oh, okay. Well, what happened? Well, I don't have all the info. So now that I do, I'm actually fixing to go into the trial, and I'm going to piece things together. I don't know who killed who or what happened in this one. And I am now where I should be. I'm now where, man, I want to figure this out with you guys, as opposed to it's obviously that guy. It's been that guy. I've had to go through this thing of collecting clues and talking to everybody, and through the trial of everybody talking back and forth, like, well, it couldn't possibly be this. Well, it would, and I'm like, it's not either one of those, you fucking morons. It's this. This third one, I've got a bunch of clues, and I as well am trying to figure it out. So hopefully, if the rest of the game is like this and they're more difficult, I will get more enjoyment out of that. And hey, I'm levying this as a critique. This is not a complaint, okay? Because even while I was going through all the shit with the first death and all the shit through the second death, while, yes, I really wish I had a fast forward button to push, I still played through it, and I still enjoyed the characters. I still enjoyed what I was doing. And I can see how that company trying to pull people off the street, not just non-gamers, but trying to pull the Call of Duty folks and the Fortnite folks and go, hey, here's this wacky, zany game about a teddy bear that has kidnapped students and is making them kill each other. Wild, right? I could see how making that first one kind of easy could be why they were doing that. I get that.
Yeah.
But if I'm telling you, Chris, if I was going through this third one and going, it's obviously, it was the fucking butler and he killed him with this and he did it right now. My God, I figured that out 5 fucking hours ago. I would have probably been done with Danganronpa. But as it stands, I am fixing to go into the trial and I'm going to put the pieces together and I'm going to figure it out with them. Now, the other side of this coin, to determine if I'm going to continue to enjoy this, is if the facts start getting way too fucking out there and way too convoluted, and then when they present the result to me, I feel like I just kind of fucked my way through it and was like, I guess that makes sense. That as well, I'm not going to like. But that's in the future. I'm not saying it's going to be that way. I'm just saying I hope it's not going to be that way. I don't want the difficulty and the believability, and granted, we're talking about a video game here, but you know what I mean? The believability of these murders to be like, okay, wait. So you're telling me that the student didn't tell people that they were an alien and they had a laser and they shot somebody with a laser, but the laser bounced off a mirror and it created a portal? Like, what? So we'll see. So that's my Danganronpa talk. I don't know if there's really much anything else. I know I played a few other tidbits here and there, but I don't think there was anything else that I really wanted to just harp on. So as I'm scrolling frantically through my Steam list, I am going to talk about the game that I have been playing, especially for the past few days. Sekiro. So, I've really been debating today how I wanted to do this, Chris, because on the one hand, no, I don't want to start it that way. Okay, let's catch the audience back up. Okay, Sekiro got released. I had it. I've had that fucker pre-ordered for months on end. I get the game. I finally get to play it. Lag issues, input lag. Weeks go by. The input lag issues never fixed. I can't play it. And the way that I can play it fucks up my computer settings. It's a whole to-do, folks. You can please go back and check the last few episodes. At least 4 episodes ago is when this shit started. You can get all the fun details about it. In any event, it took anywhere from 3 weeks to a month for me to finally sit down and play Neo. Started playing Neo, was enjoying it, and then started getting my ass handed to me. And God, this sounds so bad to say. I hope some Souls fans out there can understand what I'm saying. But I was getting my ass kicked, and normally in a Souls game, I wouldn't mind. That's par the fucking course. But I was not happy with the way Sekiro was kicking my ass. Point of fact, there were 2 mini-bosses. Now I know they're mini-bosses, Chris. You know why? Because I fought an actual boss. We'll get to that. Because there were 2 mini-bosses where it wasn't just go kill the mini-boss. It was go kill the mini-boss and these 5 to 7 other people around him. And immediately hands fly up. Whoa, douchebag. You can stealth kill some of those. And I say, yes, you can. But you can only stealth kill 1. And even if you go back and reset the area, when I went back and killed another one, everybody was on me and it never dropped off. I'm going to pause there and add a little note that you can continuously do that. You can go into an area, you can kill somebody, and run way the fuck away, and then come back and the area is reset. Now, you think about that, Chris. You can do that for all those enemies, but think of how much time that takes. You go up to one enemy, you stealth kill them, you run 30, 40 seconds away, you run back, sneak, stealth, stealth kill somebody, run, etc. Times 5 or 7. That's a way to get rid of all the enemies safely, but that's a lot of time. Anyway, I just want to understand. I want people to know, yes, that option exists. This is what I'm going to try to talk about with Sekiro. Options do exist. So yeah, I was really getting butthurt, and I was, people, you don't understand how conflicted I was, because I know how hard that was going to be to sell that to anybody, where the Souls audience as a whole was going to turn to me and go, wait, you are complaining because this game is too hard. And I'm saying, well, it's not just that it's hard. It's more like that it's bullshit. So basically, you're complaining because the game's too hard. I'm going to stand by this, Chris. I'm going to stand by this, even with everything I'm about to say about Sekiro. I still say that I don't agree with the mentality of have a shit ton of trash around a walled, you have to beat me mini boss to move forward mini boss. I'm not a fan of it. Mm-hmm. Now that what I'm about to tell you is going to come to light, that's going to seem like bullshit, but I'm still standing by that. That was something that was aggravating me. It was genuinely getting on my nerves, and I still don't exactly agree with it. However, oh boy, here we go. So, take another trip down memory lane. God, I wish I was our audience, Chris, for people, because I could be like, oh my God, he's gonna fish hook me again. Get to the fucking story. I want to know. I'm on the edge of my seat. Flashback years and years ago. I'm playing Dark Souls 1. I get to the Firelink Shrine. I do the typical thing. I do the one of two options. I go to the skeletons. I get fucked up by the skeletons. I go to the right. I proceed through the game. I spend days upon days. And it's funny, Chris, when I think about it, if I'm not, somebody correct me, please do. Okay, so you're going up through the Undead Parish before you get to the bonfire that's in that area. There's a path to the right. There are two shield. I think one has a sword and one has a spear, or they both have spears. I forget, but they both have shields. And downstairs of that area is the merchant. You'll know the merchant I'm talking about is the merchant you get the katana from. I've always got that katana. That poor merchant has never lived with me. I think I buy what I need from him and run his ass through, because God, I love that sword. Anyway, I don't think you actually had to kill those two skeletons. I don't think you had to buy anything from there. I think he may sell you something that unlocks like maybe an extra room or something. It's apparently been too long. But Chris, I spent days, you know what, I'll say even weeks, stuck right here. Not from progression. Not because I couldn't go forward. I could leave that bonfire and go to the right and keep fucking going, which I think I did a couple times. But the fucking mental jog of there are two enemies right here that I can't beat. I get close, I kind of kill one, but the other one fucking runs me through, and I'm dodging and rolling, but even then I can't. Like, I want to kill these two out of fucking principle. What saved that game for me, what made almost a fucking night and day turn for me, the moment in Dark Souls that made me go, everybody needs to fucking play this. This is the most rewarding experience I've ever had, was started with me starting the game over. I don't remember exactly why I started the game over. It could have been, although that doesn't make any sense either, it could have been that talking to Adam, maybe Adam was like, dude, you just missed a bunch of shit at the beginning. Maybe you need to start over. Maybe I thought I didn't do something right. I honestly can't make sense of why I'm getting killed by these two shield skeletons. I started Dark Souls over. But I did. And when I did, I came across a tip on the floor that said, hey, press this button, and you can do a kick. And I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to pay attention to everything this game tells me, because everything they've mentioned, some things are baby basic, press this to block, press this to attack. Some have been, maybe I'm not using them right. I keep that in mind. I go forward, I get to these skeletons, and I do the kick motion, and they they stagger. They're left wide open, and I run them through with a sword. And that was the defining moment for Dark Souls for me. That was me understanding that this game goes, hey, we are difficult. I give you that. But you have to play with me. You have to try things. You have to experiment. You have to open up. You've got to do different things because we have given you all the tools you need. No matter what boss you're up against, or enemy even, you either learn their patterns and block or parry or roll better, or try something that we taught you in a tooltip. Try a move, try a maneuver, try something. So, I'm playing Sekiro. I make it to the same fucking boss that I'm at, and it's even worse that I'm losing to this fucker so much because there is a fucking ally there that I can tag in to help me. And it got to the point where I said, fuck it. Fuck it. Bring his ass in. Let me kill the trash. I'll tag you in with me, and we will together kill this guy. And even then, I was dying repeatedly. Really disheartening. Really fucking disheartening because I'm better than this. I've done worse than... There have been harder bosses than this. But here I am in this game, and I can't fucking progress. I can't... what the fuck am I doing wrong? And yes, part of it is when I go into the area, it's not just, hey, buddy, bring it on. It's, oh, yeah, I got to kill all these enemies, and then I can fight you. I have to kite everybody around. I'm going to hold to that, Chris. I really am, because you still have to... There's a pattern, which I got the pattern before even last week. I need to run in, stealth this guy, stealth that guy, kill this guy immediately, kite everybody else around, funnel them through. I get it. There is a way to do it, but that doesn't... I just want to fight the fucking boss of the mini-boss. I'm leaving that there. If you call me whining and complaining, then fine, that's fine. But I think that's bullshit. I really do. So, dying to this boss. I'm getting fucking frustrated. I started to look online to see, okay, look, after about the 40th fucking death, what the fuck am I doing wrong? So I looked up a guide just for that boss. And I'll be damned, Chris, without me being fucking told. The guide tells people to do what the fuck I figured out on my own. When you walk into this area, you should kill this guy by stealth. You should then kill this guy, and then stealth kill this guy. Make sure when you go, kill this guy next immediately. Funnel people through this doorway. Kill this guy. And if you want to, here's a thing you can do for the boss, etc. Well, I closed that out. I didn't even read half the shit for the boss itself because this is what I'm already doing. So the fucking community is in line with me. I am just a piece of shit that can't fucking play this game right. This is going to be the game where I say, fuck it. And I was mentally getting myself ready for that. I've got Demon Souls under my belt, Dark Souls 1, all DLC, Dark Souls 2, all DLC, Dark Souls 3, all DLC, Bloodborne, at least all the base game. I've got all that under my belt. If we're not even counting shit I've done in the past, I'm looking at you, Ghosts and Goblins, for the Nintendo Entertainment System. If I really want to put my trophy to somebody and go, yeah, I've been through this shit, I can present my I've been through the shit. I don't want to go through this shit if I'm not having fun. Dark Souls was fucking difficult. All those games I just mentioned had many severely difficult things. Times where my wife would look at me and go, baby, are you okay? You're really getting pissed off. I'm like, yes, because of this fucking thing right here. But I triumphed because I was having fun doing it. And the yes reward was also good. Playing Sekiro, dying to this boss repeatedly. Now I've depraved myself to look up guides, not helping me. I said, okay. When I had this problem in Dark Souls, I started the game over. Who knows? And one of those many things where, Chris, maybe I got an item, maybe there was a tip somewhere, maybe there was something that the sculptor told me, maybe it was something that I should do with the training dummy, maybe there was I'm not utilizing an item or a skill that I got correctly because I didn't read it properly. Let me start over and see if this helps. If I start this fucking game over and I get all the way to this boss and keep dying, fuck this game. It's not worth it to me. I want to play a game, Chris, to have fun. I don't want to play a game to walk to work and brag about it. I don't fucking care about bragging rights. And if we're really being truthful here, Miyazaki himself made it a point, hey, I didn't make Dark Souls to be difficult. I made it to be a rewarding experience. It required that difficulty to get there. That's way different than, I'm going to give you 1 life and 40 levels, have fun, fucker. Like, that's me going, look what I did. So anyway, started Sekiro over. Fresh start. A reminder to the audience now from my story from 4 fucking hours ago. When I started Sekiro, I only made it probably maybe to the first, if I had to do it by the idols, maybe 5 or 6 idols in. I'd already had my arm cut off. I had the prosthetic on. No, actually, I stand corrected. I didn't even make it that far. I think me actually finding the solution and having the game fixed was before this. So the game changer spoiler thing, hey Chris, I don't know if you realize this, but he gets a fake arm. I don't know if you saw that in the trailer that they had for fucking 6 years. But yeah, so what I'm saying is I played the game in very small little fits and starts because I couldn't get the game to work. So I'd play for, maybe what felt like an hour, but I really didn't progress any. And then weeks went by. I wasn't even out of the fucking tutorial area, and weeks went by until I finally got the solution, and then I just picked the game up, didn't start a new game, just picked the game up and kept playing. When I started a new game, Chris, this is so fucking good. I don't remember if I was in a fight or it's when I picked the sword up or something, but the tip came up for deflecting. I remember deflecting back when they taught me that a month ago. That yes, if you hold the button right, if you press the button at the correct time, that's the key here, folks, the time, you will deflect, and it will also take a shit ton of their poise away, and that's what this game is about. It's about poise. It's not just about slashing, it's about poise break. You want to fuck somebody up until they go, I'm blocking you, I'm blocking you, I'm blocking you, I have no stamina left, I can't block you. Oh, death blow. The tip said, at the moment of impact, press your block button. And Chris, if somebody was in the room watching, I would have dropped my controller for fucking drama effect. Chris, I have been playing that game for the past couple weeks since I had my problem fixed. Wrong. I have been playing that with either a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne, whatever, parry riposte mentality. For those that remember Dark Souls, you want to hit your block button before the impact happens. The closer you get it before the impact, the better it is. But there's no variance here that I can really... Somebody's going to correct me. Well, there's a 0.003 second to 0.009... what the fuck ever. You press the block button before the attack lands, you parry, and then immediately riposte. This said, hey, when that fucking axe impacts your body, hit the button. You will deflect, and you will do the good thing. I said, oh well, fuck. Okay, here we go. I got into a fight. Dude fucking slashed his sword down. As soon as it hit my body, I hit it. He deflected, and I fucking stabbed. Chris, I have been fucking walking through this game now. Just because of that. Because I wasn't playing the game right. So I'll admit, totally, right now, a lot of things that I was doing, a lot of things that made the game a little bit difficult for me, or a lot of difficult, I'll stand by that, was because I was not doing the right thing. You got to imagine all the enemies that I'm fighting, and I'm like, I'm blocking, but all it's doing is blocking. And they immediately attack, or they immediately block again. It's almost like they're blocking me and I'm blocking them. We're not fucking getting anywhere. Sure. Now it's, he swiped me, deflect, stab, you're dead. Deflect, stab, you're dead. Oh, you're a different guy. Dodge, deflect, you're dead. Roll, dodge, deflect, you're dead. Come at me, bro. My wife came home from work last night, and I was flipping the screen off after I killed a mini-boss. She said, did you just flip the screen off? I was like, yeah, fuck that guy. Oh, man. So, now that I am back into Sekiro, and I can hear everybody now, just give me a second. I'm going to get to it. I'm a piece of shit. I get it. Now that I'm back into Sekiro and playing the game properly and doing things properly, I'm having a much better and more importantly, I'm having a more rewarding time. An example. The first mini-boss that I came to, I don't know his name, and yes, I realize they all have... Chris, I've got a coworker that knows all these people's names off the top of his head. I'm like, which one is that? Oh, he's the guy on the horse. Oh, I ain't got to him yet. Oh, I was like, I don't have their names memorized yet, but one of the first mini-bosses that I recall, the one that had me locked up for a good 3, 4, 5 nights, if not more, was... the one, it's a mini boss that has a pole arm with the trident on the end. He fucked my world up. Chris, I got back to that guy after learning how to control properly. Oh, and also using one of my ninja moves properly, which as soon as they stab me, it just stomps their blade down to the ground and takes a fuck ton of poise away from them. I died to him one time. I went back to him and fucking murdered him. Chris, I killed that guy so fast, I didn't realize that I killed him that fast. I was honestly shocked. I was like, oh, he's dead. What the fuck? You gotta understand, folks. 4 or 5 hours a night for 4 or 5 days straight to death made him my bitch. That was like, wow. Holy shit. So... What's happening now is I'm going back more into my roots. I'm rereading and multiple times rereading skill descriptions and moves and all this stuff and going, okay, I need to do this move better and this move better and this move better. All right, new mini boss. Let me learn your patterns. One, that's normal, but also let me try these moves against you. Okay, this move didn't do anything. This move, I think I fucked that timing up. Let me do it again. This move works damn good. Use this. This move doesn't work. Okay, deflecting works. Okay, deflecting doesn't work on new, but that move works here. Done. I got to a boss, and a legitimate boss. I was in this boss's boss room, and I was like, yay, they do have bosses in here. Died one time, Chris. Went back, got to the boss's second phase. Did you hear me? They had 2 phases, and then killed that boss. Now, it's not just the fact that it was easy. Dude, I had like a pinky nail worth of health left. I was on the edge of my seat. But I was like, I in the moment right now, I'm getting your pattern down. I'm executing that properly. Back up. Heal. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, she's doing that pattern now. Okay, she's doing that. Okay, this didn't work. That worked. Okay, I've got it. Oh, God, she slashed. I'm almost dead. That is what these games are to me. That is why I love these games. And part of it, I'm going to take equal blame for it, okay? I wasn't playing the game right. I didn't do good enough. I got better. I got good. And I'm now working my way through the game. And I feel a lot better. I'm slowly starting to feel that this is why I play these games feeling. This is important that I'm telling you this too, Chris, because you need to remind me. Adam did a little bit. He's like, man, you're probably not doing something right, man. I'm like, no, man, the game's just bullshit. He goes, okay, but you might be fucking something up. You gotta be my reminder when whatever the fuck next game comes out. Hey, man, if you're not liking it, you're probably not doing it right. Because this definitely was that. This was a... I gotta get out of my mindset of the other games. There are things that this game does that Dark Souls and Bloodborne did, and there are things that this game has added and changed. But the premise of these games have been, hey man, slow down, pay attention, Persona 5, take your time. If they tell you something, if you pick up a weapon, or you pick up a skill, or you pick up an extra weapon, or an item, or whatever, read that shit. And then go try to use that in battle. And I want to throw this out there too. This is something that somebody brought up, another coworker of mine. Chris, if there is any set of games out there that I would say, hey man, if it's fucking there, use it. I don't care. These games are that. These games have items that increase your attack power, increase your defensive power. They have items that make you invisible. They have items that make enemies aggro less or enemies aggro more. There are even little things like I mentioned earlier about aggroing an enemy, and when everybody else is on you, you haul ass and reset the field. This game has times where you can walk up and stealth and take half the health away from a mini boss. I'm going to tell you right now, if you have to do that shit in this game to progress, brother or sister, do it. There is no shame in this game. I don't care how fucking dirty it looked for you to get past the next point. Did you do it? Were the means there and you did it? Look, man, I got past the blood-starved beast, but I used this item and that item and this item, and I used all of my health potions, and I kind of cheesed him in a corner doing this for a while until he broke out of the corner. Did you beat him? Yeah, move the fuck on. I don't care. Because this game has plenty of opportunity to go, no, you're one hit death, buddy. Come back next time. It's okay in these games. Now, if you want to go above and beyond and not use these items available to you and all that, that's fine too. I think a good example is Gwen from Dark Souls 1. For those that don't know, I may be about to change this end game for you, and that's fine. But Gwen can be parried and riposted until death. You can have a no damage run against Gwen. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, Gwen is the last boss of this game. Imagine the hell that somebody has to go through in this game, fighting boss after boss, of getting your shit pushed in for months on end, and then get to a boss and go, block, stab, block, stab, block, stab, block. You didn't touch me, you're dead. He's a good example of this. You can do that. It's there. And if the game has it, buddy, parry and riposte is in that game. It's not your fucking fault that Gwen is weak to that. That's not your fault. Use it. Go for it. It's a fucking victory lap. You got past all 12 other bosses or 15 other bosses to get to Gwen, and you bitch slapped them. Go for it. You earned it. Or you can not parry and riposte him, and you can fight him legitimately. It's up to you. Me, I don't care. Did you beat Gwen? Yes, I did. That's the end of the story. Did you fight Father Gascoigne in Bloodborne? Yeah. Did you kill him? Yeah. Did you do the trick where you line him up against one of those where you were like trapped the gravestones between you and him and you cheesed him? Yeah. Did you beat him? Yeah. I don't fucking care. You beat him. I bet you didn't do that shit to Parl though, did you? Oh no. See, it's fine. It's fine. I'm saying that because I've realized I haven't used them yet, but I have a shit ton of hoarded items that again, Chris, when I said I was reading items, I was like, oh shit, this thing like increases my attack power. I can use that. This one increases me taking poise away from an enemy. I could just beef myself up. I haven't yet, but it's there. And I promise you, when I start getting to those bosses that are just kicking my face in, I'm going to go, item. Yeah, I'll wipe the floor with you. I'm just...
Yeah, I burned pretty much all of my items I had trying to get past that fucking ogre.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free right here as I can, but that was another thing that was kind of aggravating me. But that got way... how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Okay, so this was something that did piss me off. And okay, this is also a legitimate critique of Sekiro. I think this could have been handled better. I think this is just a missed opportunity. We'll put it that way. So I had the instance where I went to fight the ogre. I killed the 2 guys and fought him and died. I killed the 2 guys, fought him, died over and over and over. I had the part where I listened to them and they said, oh, he's weak to fire. And I tried to kick a fire thing in front of him. It did no good. I went to a bonfire. He jumped over or walked through the bonfire, took no damage, did not react to the fire at all. So this is where it gets worse for me. I picked up an item later in the game, fire-based. I said, aha, see? There's Dark Souls. There's the Souls game having an aha moment. I took that item back to there, killed the 2 guys, used it on him. It took a little more damage. A little more. Okay, yeah. Think of any game where this is a thing. Think of a Mega Man game. You know, you think of, let's say, Mega Man X. Okay, I fight Chill Penguin. I'm shooting. I'm doing, okay, decent fucking pellet damage. Other weapons don't really do jack. They do about the same amount. I go to Flame Mammoth. I kill Flame Mammoth. I bring the flame back to Penguin. Hey, guess what? A lot more damage. So imagine, Chris, I slash the ogre. I slash him 5 times and take a little bitty % of damage off. I walk up to him. I slash him 5 times. I take a little bit of damage off. I use the fire item and take a little bit more off. That's disheartening. But that's okay. Because that fire does something and it helps you. It helps you. I think this game was trying to show me that, okay, so we're not going to give you the easiest way out, but we will give you some help. But I went and did some other things in the game and killed other mini-bosses and other bosses, and I basically powered up a little bit, and I went back to the ogre, and wouldn't you know it, Chris, I beat him in one fucking go. So, hey, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not as difficult. It's the difficulty is that man, I'm not enough bosses or many bosses in to make that judgment call yet. I don't want to make that call. There is a difficulty tier that I'm not ready to get involved with Sekiro yet. I will say that so now that I am doing the right thing, now that I am quote unquote playing this game properly, the difficulty is getting to a level of this is what I'm used to. This type of difficulty is understandable and it's now getting rewarding. But I'm having fun with it. And I'm glad. I'm glad. I didn't want to have to fucking ship Sekiro off. And I thought I was going to have to. I thought I was going to with the ogre and the context thing not having a good enough effect, and every time having to kill trash mobs to earn the right to finally one-on-one the mini bosses, that was starting to weigh on me. But now that I'm executing correctly, I'm progressing and I'm having a better time with it. So hopefully that continues. Hopefully weeks from now we'll have an episode and I'm talking about how I beat Sekiro and this just goes up and up and up. We'll see. We'll see. Whew. That is my long-winded, half-hearted apology to Sekiro. It was me. It wasn't you. It was me. I'm doing better now. I'm sorry. You're all right. I'm having some fun. Thankfully. So. All right, Chris.
My turn?
Yes.
All right. This is going to be an interesting week for me, and I cannot wait. I really hope you've seen one of the things I've seen, because I really want to talk about it. But before I get there, I'll start with a couple other things. TV-wise. Watch Game of Thrones on Sunday, as I'm doing. It was Game of Thrones. The next episode is the one where things really pick up, at least based on what we've seen. So these last two, or the first two of this season, this last season, as it is, it's the last season of the series. It, build up. You got to get some loose threads tied off. Take care of that. Whatever. Nothing to talk about the Game of Thrones at this point. I watched a movie, Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. All right.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen both of them.
Both of them? There's more than one?
Yeah. This is the one that has Robert Downey Jr. in it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen both of them.
Okay. Didn't know there was another one. I know there's this TV series, which I haven't watched yet.
My professional opinion, the first one's better. So if you saw the first one and only the first one, you're good.
I mean, it was just called Sherlock Holmes, so I'm assuming it's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I already removed it from my list, so I can't pull it up without searching for it at the
Let
moment.
me ask this. Did Sherlock dress up as a woman? It's a long pause.
I don't remember.
There was a good...
I don't actually remember.
There was a good, 10 to 15 minute section where he was dressed up as a woman on a train doing a thing. So if you didn't see that, then that was the first one.
Okay. Yeah. So it was a really interesting movie. I haven't seen the TV series, so I don't have any comparison there, but it was... I guess I have a thing for crime drama type things because I'm a big Law and Order fan.
Mm-hmm.
Love Law and Order, and I like movies like this when they're executed well. What Sherlock Holmes I thought absolutely was.
Mm-hmm.
The whole interactions with Sherlock and basically anyone with him were very interesting with his kind of out there personality.
Uh-huh.
As they describe him in the description of the show, he's a tortured genius,
Mm-hmm.
and that really shows through. Like the scene with Watson and his, fiance,
Mm-hmm.
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And you saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
The characters saw it coming,
Mm-hmm.
but they played it out, and it was exactly what you expected.
Yep.
Really good. I really like how they slowly revealed piece by piece kind of what was going on, because it's got this whole real mystical feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like supernatural Sherlock Holmes, and
Yep.
I'm watching that, I'm like, huh, okay. But it plays out and everything... It all makes sense in the end,
Yeah. And
everything's tied up nicely.
what a cast too. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, Rachel McAdams played a good part. Mark Strong. I haven't found anything I've seen Mark Strong in that I don't like him in, but his portrayal in here of the Lord Blackwater character, I love how fucking creepy / I'm on top of everything he was, and you need that. In a villain in movies like this, in a whodunit / how they done it movie, you need this. You need this type of character. Speaks to me. I guess we'll see how it goes, but I've already got everything. And we're talking about Sherlock Holmes here. So while Lord Blackwater's like, shit's coming, Sherlock is like, I know, and I'm gonna save the day. He's like, no, you're not. It's like, yes, I am. I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah, I agree. I had a really good time with this movie.
Yeah, they did really good with the suspense and leaving you hanging, because there were a couple real oh shit moments in the movie where you're like, oh, stuff just went down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, where is everybody? What's going on? What? Tell me more.
Yep.
So really good in that aspect. Would highly recommend watching the movie. Yeah. All right. Have you seen Gotham?
Okay. I have not, but I watched the latest Huber syndrome. Good folks, Michael Huber is he's crazy right now because there's the Game of Thrones is out, And Gotham apparently is getting a season finale or whatever, and it's going hype. And an Endgame is fixing to come out, and that's going crazy. There's some video games he was, and he was starting to sell me on this Gotham show. Apparently, it's really fucking good. But no, have not.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. This is probably the best thing I have seen DC, period.
Jesus.
And I'm very close to saying this might be the best TV series I have seen.
Wow. Now you're saying a hefty fucking... You're slinging that fucking sledgehammer now.
Oh, yeah. And I've been thinking for most of the week on how I want to talk about this, and I was like, do I want to say this? And I could not talk myself out of it, because I'm like, well, what about... Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Let me maybe help you segue. Because and
sure.
Forgive me, you've probably mentioned this multiple times, but remind me your relationship with the Gotham series. Did you recently watch this and binge it all the way from start to finish? Have you been watching it season to season? Like, how have you become accustomed to the Gotham series?
I watched season 1 this week.
Wow. Okay. How many seasons are there right now?
I binged. There are 4.
Okay.
So I think they're wrapping up the 4th if there's a finale going on.
Okay.
I'm watching this via Netflix. I think it's only on Netflix, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe not. Maybe they're on 5th season and there's only 4 on Netflix. Anyway, I watched the first season, and that's why I won't have a whole lot to talk about game-wise, because Tuesday and Wednesday, I watched Gotham.
Okay.
That's what I did.
All right.
I started watching it Tuesday after watching Sherlock Holmes, and, kind of wanting to find something else. Like I was talking about last week, how, haven't been really feeling a lot of stuff on Twitch at the moment. So I was like, yeah, let's start a series. And it's very dangerous for me to do that, because stuff like this will happen.
Yep.
But this one, and normally I'll be like, okay, well, I'll stop watching, play some games, and then get back to it, the next day or whatever. This, I was like, all right, games can wait.
Yep.
I'm not putting this down.
And that's
I
good.
had to force myself not to start season 2. I was like, I finished season 1. Let's get back to life for a little bit before I move on to season 2.
Let me tell you 2 things. One, even as an end of time cast co-host, you are never beholden to games. If you only played one game one day for 2 hours, it doesn't mean shit. 2, you could not put this down. Brother, that's fucking great. That is always great. Same thing with me when I played Obra Dinn. I hand waved it. It was literally a why the fuck not. It wasn't that, well, it's time to hunt through my catalog and play something new. I was like, sure. Oh, this was that game that was talked about last year. Let me go play this for a little while, and I'll mention it too. I just lost my entire night. I honestly cannot believe I'm fixing to crawl into bed. I have to stop playing this game and crawl into bed. I've lost my whole entire time. Wow. I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, baby. Yeah, I'm glad that you got this way with Gotham.
So let's talk a little bit about what Gotham is for a moment, which is part of what makes it so great. Gotham is and note the name, it's called Gotham.
Yeah.
It's not called Batman. It's not called anything else. It's called Gotham.
Right.
Because this is not a Batman origin story.
Okay, good.
This is a Gotham origin, not even Gotham origin, but Gotham from this point in time on. It's like a Gotham history lesson.
Right, gotcha.
It is yes, it includes a Batman origin story. Yes, it includes, stuff that happens to poor little Bruce Wayne. There's also all the villains you've come accustomed to, where they are, how they got started. This is, you see all these characters, and as soon as you hear the name, you're like, oh, I know who this is. But wait, they're not a villain. They are not a villain. What is this? And you get to see this progression, and there will be segments, that focus on one character at a time, but they always bounce back and forth between things that are going on, some related, some not. But it's all the things that are happening, in Gotham. It kind of focuses centrally on Jim Gordon, who we know as, the commissioner or whatever his title is in Batman. But he's just a rookie cop.
Oh, nice.
So we have all this backstory. He's a rookie cop. He's getting his, his kind of hazing and introduction into the crooked world of Gotham. You find all these things out about the city and the people in the city. You see villains who are not villains, who are essentially nobodies. They're just another person in the city. But you see how they progress, and slowly over time, or maybe quickly in some cases, that switch gets flipped. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, now I see the villain in this person that we'll see, in 10 years.
Nice.
Or 20 years even. I don't know how quite the, Batman, Bruce Wayne age gap from when the whole parent death to when he actually, became Batman. But yeah, he's the series literally starts with the, Bruce Wayne scene. That's where it begins. So you have no Batman, nothing Batman at this point, and it's, man, they do really well with making you have mixed feelings about like pretty much every character. There are a couple things, and I'm withholding judgment on whether it's an actual change or just something I don't know about the, Gotham universe. With like, oh, well, this character, normally they're, this person, but they seem to be this person here, so they kind of took some liberties with that. I'm okay with that. If it is a liberty or if I'm just ignorant, either way is fine with me. I don't care, because they portrayed it in a way that, kind of talking about our, Marvel comic book discussion earlier, even if it isn't spot on, it doesn't matter. It
works.
They did it.
Yeah.
So, the character development is spot on. One of my favorite characters in this is Alfred.
Okay.
Alfred is a badass.
All right.
And different, eras of Batman have kind of portrayed him differently. I don't know in how many universes, Batman universes, Alfred is the, former British secret agent type dude. But he does have that history in here, and he's not just the, yes sir, butler. He's not a pushover. He is there for Bruce Wayne. He is his mentor. He is helping him through this rough time, but he's also badass. He easily is probably one of my favorite characters at this point.
Nice.
I was trying to think when I was comparing to things. I was like, I probably need to go back and watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 just to compare Season 1 to Season 1, because later Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it kind of slows down, and I have some issues with, this arc and this arc, but overall it's really good. I really enjoy Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I think Season 1 to Season 1, this might still take it over Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for me, which would probably put it at the top of TV series for me. Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is my favorite Marvel series overall. And I don't know, probably my overall favorite TV series. So Gotham, I think so far it's better than any of these. I look forward to Season 2, but I know I'm going to lose the rest of my, anything I want to do until I finish it.
Amen.
At that
That's
point.
fine.
So I'm putting it off for now.
You're still doing something you want to do. That's all that counts.
Yep. I think that's about it for Gotham, without, getting into spoiler territory.
Right. And thank you for that.
Yeah. I really want you to watch it so we can talk about it more, maybe have a spoiler episode about it.
Okay.
Because there's so many interesting things they've done that I would love to talk about. All right. So getting to the games, I have done a little bit more in my Lunar 2 Eternal Blue / Eternal Blue Complete comparison playthrough, where I'm playing on Sega CD and PlayStation at the same time, the original game and the remake, and comparing them, in real time as things happen. I'm still early on in the game. I only played it, I think, 1 or 2 more days, but I'm still sticking to, I think, Lunar 2 remake is better than the Lunar 1 remake.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kept closer to what the source game was, whereas Lunar 1 remake, they made it more like Lunar 2 on Sega CD, which didn't work out. It wasn't a good transition. So it's progressing. I'm still enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I kind of took a break from it because there were a couple other things I wanted to play, and then Gotham took over my life, so I only had so much time. So since I only had so much time, well, before I get to that, let's go to Mario Monday.
Okay.
I continued with Baby Kaizo World. I believe I was at either 16 or 17 exits last week. I can actually tell I have my notes right here. I can literally flip over and confirm that I did not write it down last week, so I cannot compare. Never mind. So I was either at 16 or 17 last week. I only got to 18 this week, which I beat the second world, so I'm at the third world. And then they introduced shell jumps, which are not super easy to learn. That's kind of where I left off on the Learn to Kaizo hack as well, mainly because Test 2 is bullshit, but mostly because shell jumps are rough. So I got to that point on Baby Kaizo World, and I still, intend to go through it, but I was like, you know what? I'm bashing my head against the wall for a little bit. I'm gonna take a breather, and I'm gonna go do a Grand Poo World 2 check-in. Now, Grand Poo World 2 is leagues harder than anything I've done so far, and for those that are return listeners, I put about 3.5, 4 hours into Grand Poo World 2 shortly after it was released, because I just loved watching the game so much. I just want to get a little bit of hands-on to appreciate it even more, which I did. And I didn't get to the first checkpoint. And I had no issues with that because I was fully aware I did not have the skill level to, beat this game. I just flat out don't. It takes a certain set of skills and a amount of dedication and time commitment to accomplish things in these type of games. And I'm only just beginning that. So I decided I'd go in and do a check-in. I very quickly actually got back to where I left off, which was nice. I didn't... there was, like, the very first jump in the game, I was doing a inconsistent way because I literally could not do the appropriate strat. So I was doing a kind of gimmicky, or I don't know, it's a fast strat is what it is, and it is not consistent because of all the variables that are part of it.
Right.
But I couldn't do it any other way. So I was dying on the first jump, like 10 times plus in a row sometimes, and that was fine. That's what I expected. But now I picked it up and I was like, all right, I'm going to learn this. 15 minutes later, I'm like caught up to where I was. I'm getting the first jump consistently. I'm like, wow, I can clearly see my progression, my skill progression in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a little bit longer. I got up to my furthest ever jump. And then I got one beyond that. And then I got like half beyond. I got like a jump and a half. So I've basically progressed after playing like 3 weeks of Baby Kaizo World, 3 weeks-ish, and doing a little bit of other stuff. I've now progressed by a jump and a half. And a new way to do the first jump.
Such is the life of these games, though. Absolutely.
That is how you can expect these games to go. It's a little bit at a time, but it's very satisfying. when I caught up to where I was like, wait, I just did that. That's where I was before. That's where I spent 3.5 to 4 hours getting, and I just did that in like 20, 30 minutes. So, and that was mostly getting familiar with the level again and playing on a different controller this time, because I was playing on my Xbox and PlayStation 2 controller the first time I played it. So now I'm on an actual SNES controller. So I was like, okay, gotta get used to this. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm sure. I was like, I have a very good chance of actually getting to the checkpoint. And I probably would have spent more time and maybe even gotten there with, a couple more hours of play, but then we had D&D. So I was like, I should probably do some prep for D&D.
Right. Understandable.
It's so hard, but it's so satisfying. Moving on from there, though, I didn't have a lot of time because of Gotham, like I was saying. So I had a few hours, and I was like, all right, let's load up Obra Dinn and look at the graphic settings, because he told me there were different colors I could choose from.
Right. And
I was like,
I hope I made that clear, and to the audience as well. It doesn't change the graphics of the game a little bit. It changes the color scheme.
Yeah.
So if you're looking go ahead.
You did not make that clear.
Sorry.
But it's okay.
It's okay.
I did find one setting that I could tolerate.
Okay.
And that's tolerate in the strongest way I can put it, because graphically, I despise this game.
Okay, that's fine.
Even on the best color scheme, I despise it. It is so bad. But I got one that I could tolerate. Managed to get it on the screen I wanted, which is a whole mess So I don't know if this is just a me thing, because I haven't even researched it, because I'm too lazy to. I just, found a way to get it to work and moved on with my life. But I have a thing where, okay, I put it in windowed mode, and then, which I can only do via Alt-Enter, because there's nothing in the graphics setting to do so, I don't believe. And I go to drag it to my other screen, and it stops 2 inches onto the other screen. And I can't move it further, so I have to let it go. And then it takes focus, takes my mouse, I have to Alt-Tab again so I can get to the bar to move it again. Move it a little bit more. It gets a majority on the other screen, so then I can find the Alt-Enter, and then it full screens on my main display like I want it to.
Yeah.
Okay, that was annoying. And then I change a setting, and it moves it back to the other screen. I'm like, you son of a... Okay, so all settings need to be adjusted before I start playing. Don't touch anything after I move it over other than playing the game itself.
Yeah.
And I actually had it this last time. It loaded on my second monitor. I guess it saved the location. I was like, sweet. Good job, game. I approve. I hit play. I load my save. And as soon as it loads onto the ship, it moves it back to the other screen. I was like, all right, now you're just toying with me. So how to move it back.
Yeah, it may be a you thing, and there may be fixes for it. I will say that this is one, and it's not okay. This may be what our episode is about today. I don't fucking know, but I feel that I should justify or at least explain, if anything else, just for conversation point, why full screen, Alt Tab, end of story. That's really all it is. I do multiple things across multiple windows. I have a internet browser opened up. I've got a VLC player or two open up. I may want to go look at Steam. I have other windows. I've got a sound window open and a volume window open. I've got maybe a file mover open, a downloader open. I've got all kind of shit open. When I press Alt Tab, this is where my full screen, this is the full stop of it. When I Alt Tab, if my screen locks up, kind of changes perspective, changes aspect ratio, shit's kind of jumping around, and then it gets to the screen, and I have to go through extra steps to correct everything, I am no longer playing your game in full screen. If I Alt Tab and it just goes to the next fucking window in full screen, which Obra Dinn does for me, okay, I'm fine. And I've noticed it's mainly for games that are graphically intensive, and that's usually been how it's always been. Witcher 3 in full screen. If I alt-tab that bad boy, it's got a different aspect, different this, different that. It takes a minute, and it's just a little more difficult to go to and from the game. Sekiro, good example. Unfortunately, the only way I can play it right now is in full screen. But blessedly, when I am playing Sekiro, the alt-tab takes maybe like 2 seconds to finally flip over. That's fine. Nothing else gets fucked with. Nothing else is a hassle, and it's okay. So that's my long and short of when and why I choose full screen. If I play your game and I alt-tab and it's there, okay, I'll just keep you in full screen. If it's a beep, bop, biddle, boop, I'm not. I'll just windowed mode and move on with my life.
Yeah, and I didn't really care. It was a very minor issue that, like I said, I had to work around, you know. I figured it out. It took me like 2 minutes, so minimal effort on my side to actually resolve the issue. Don't care. Just thought it was something I'd mention in case others encounter it. But
yeah,
once the game's going and you're actually on the ship, it shouldn't change displays or anything like that. So where do I want to start with this? So let's start with progress.
Okay.
I have solved 36.
Ooh.
That's where I'm at in the game.
You are where I was when the shit started getting like, okay, it's time to dig in and do some fucking work.
Yeah, it's I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So starting out, it was very interesting getting familiar with the mechanics, especially when you start going to these secondary things and having to, it doesn't really tell you, you need to click again when this is happening or press the action button again when this is happening to trigger something else. You just kind of do it. You fumble about your way, and then it's like, oh, you can't move until you press it again. Okay, thanks, game. Sure. I'll just flail about until something happens.
I have to. I kind of want to know what you're talking about. I don't understand.
So, like, okay, when you're in a what do you call a memory? We'll call memories. I don't know if they have a different name. When you're in a memory and there is another body, you can go into that memory of, but you press it on it and it changes you back to where you were, but you can't move until you click the mouse, and that triggers the whole little thing that floats around and makes the body appear, so you can go actually into that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole little mechanic. Yeah. It was very odd.
Yeah. But once I figured it out, I did it and moved. I kept doing it and moved past it. I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just one of those jarring things. It messes with the flow of the game.
Right.
At the start. So once I got past the controls, which that's all there is to, I went to the controls in the menu seeing what if I was missing something. I was like, oh, there were like 4 buttons. Okay. 4 or 5, you know. It's like, okay. So I go around and I'm looking and investigating, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty obvious. You know, that's obviously a guy getting stabbed. So I fill in the blanks as appropriate, you know. I'm like, okay, I'm missing information. That's fine. No problem. I'll come back to it. That's how you play the game. And I progressed quite a bit through, I want to say to the 15 mark is around where I started getting not frustrated, but a little confused is probably the best way to put it, because this is the first point where I started to kind of run out of things.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the first point where I had a guess. And this game is not super guest friendly because there's so many variables.
Exactly.
So
he specifically designed this game where you could not just brute. You can, if you want to spend months doing it, but you can't brute force your way through this game.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I got to start paying more attention. So I have a routine. It's like, all right, well, let's go listen again or read I should say. Some listen, some read, depending on what I'm feeling like. Read every piece of dialogue that shows up throughout these chapters. All right. So this is this. Okay. So, and a name and dialogue is gold in this game.
Oh,
it's like,
yes.
Okay, this is, I've hit the, I've hit oil here.
Yep.
So I went to there, and getting from 15 to 30 was rough. And the 2 more sets of 3 I've gotten to get to 36, that was a lot of guessing. And it's at this point that the game's kind of waning for me. Because it's like, all right, before I get to this point even. So I actually sent you a message asking you a question about something mechanically. Because I had yet to have a disappearance resolve as any part of 3. I had yet to have one. I was at like 20 something, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
And I felt like this is very odd. Do they just not resolve until like end game, But then I messaged you and you're like, yeah, they absolutely resolve as if you fill in the right information. I'm like, oh, so I'm just completely wrong on these.
Yeah.
So I did spoil one person's information because I was like,
get out. You're out of the club. Get out. Get out.
I was like, I 100% know. Well, I won't say 100%. I'm like 90% sure this is this person's stuff.
Yep.
This is, what happened to them. So I'm going to go, because this is a disappearance. I'm going to go double check and see how far off I am on this to kind of figure out what I'm missing gameplay wise. And I was completely wrong. I was absolutely completely wrong. And once I read the actual thing, I was like, okay, so now I need to go check some stuff. Because if this is what happened, then I'm missing something around it here. And I go and look and I'm like, oh yeah, right there.
Yep.
Plain as day, just missed it. And that one, that's on me. Totally understand it. Now getting up to where I'm at with 36 and the people I have left, I feel like and I know there are probably a couple things I'm missing, but I feel like I've got a pretty solid handle on a lot of these situations, but it's basically just coming down to guessing, and having not a lot to guess on, because it's like, okay, I know what job this person has, but like when you go to topman or seaman, there's like 10 topmen and more than that seaman, I think. So it's like, all right, I know he's a seaman, but that's it. How am I supposed to know his name? His name's not said anywhere, So it's like, all right, here we go.
Oh man.
So it's getting to a point where it's more aggravating than it is fun. Because it was okay. It was fun early on, searching for clues and stuff like that. But yeah, it's frustrating because like I guessed a couple. At one point, I had I think the most I've had filled out at once was 11, and every single one of them was wrong, or like one of them was right. So I'm like, all right, I've got 11 things filled out. I'm doing something wrong. So I figured some of those out, but it was very, very frustrating after a certain point. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to throw this name on here because it kind of fits what he looks like. And I don't feel like that's a great way to sort things out. I don't know if I'm missing something on some of those that would make that easier.
You have to be.
Yeah. And perhaps we can have a off podcast little discussion about a couple things to talk about specifics, but it is, it's rough.
I'm gonna have to know. This is after. I'm not saying now. I don't want no decision now. I'm gonna have to know down the road whether you're gonna have to come to me and say, Michael, I am quitting this game. I will never finish it. Spoil whatever the fuck you want to. Before I will have a spoiler talk with you, because I don't want to do that. I may say something and that may fucking be a tripwire for 16 people. I don't want that. I want you to find it. And here's why. This game does get aggravating. The return of the Obra Dinn does get aggravating. It was aggravating for me. And again, it was definitely around the 30-point mark. Chris, there was one night where I was like, I'm about to say, fuck it. I'm just going to look up. And I was going to do the same thing. Little innocent thing. I'm just going to look up one, if I can have one guy. But then I thought about it for a minute and thought about it. I said, well, it's not going to work. That's not going to work. If I want to find out this guy is a seaman. There are 14 seamen. That's not really going to help me. If I find out this guy, he may be the second mate. There's a first mate, a third mate, a fourth mate. There's the one piece is not going to fix me. But it wasn't just that. It wasn't just the obvious. It was no. This game is not broken. It's like a puzzle game. It's like playing a fucking Zelda game. This is a puzzle. I will figure this out. And if this happens to be some janky fucking Steam game where it's like, okay, look, you really got to kind of look over this or look, no. Goddamn no. This thing is engineered to perfection. Much like I said earlier, how Dark Souls and Sekiro as well has been, buddy, it's everything you need is there. I'm telling you this now, Chris. Everything you need is there. And I figured it out. I figured all of it out. And there were moments where I figured out 3, 4, 5 at a time. There's times where I figured out one, and that one led to 3, 4, 5, like in rapid succession. There were times where there was 4 individual people. I can't remember their names, and of course I won't tell you. But there were like 4 people not related to each other in any way. But I remember I had them bookmarked in my book and said, this guy's fucking right. This has to be him. This has to be how he died. This has to be who killed him. And it took me fucking days of going, wait a minute, you dumb fuck. If it was 4 people and you know they're right, 3 would have checked off. They didn't. And I would go back and I would I wish it was just like a clone of me, because I pulled back the book and looked at it, and I would point to the screen and tell my clone, look, he's right there. He's calling that name. It's right there. You can't fucking dispute this. And then it's like, turn the fucking camera over. Look over there. Do this. And I went, I was fucking wrong. I was wrong the whole time. The context clues blatantly point to here, but that was wrong. Oh, no. And it's looking at people's clothing in comparison to other people's clothing, listening to their accents, listening to how people talk to one another, how they refer to each other. There was one scene where there was 5 people in a room and 4 of them were talking to each other, and it took so long for me to sit down and listen to it repeatedly and move the camera around and logically make stuff in my head and go, oh, wait a minute. He's saying this as if he's this person. He's not this person. He's saying if I was, oh shit, he wasn't even talking to him. He was talking to this guy. And it's just clicks happened and all over the place. I'm telling you legitimately, I'm a fucking dummy and I got this game, but it was not easy. There were parts that were considerably not easy. But everything, and yeah, if I could play this game now, it's a discussion I've had with myself. Do I ever want to go back through Obra Dinn? I think I'm never going to have that version experience. I think this suffers just like Dark Souls. Like, you may have fun-ish going through it again, but you know everything. Like, you know. But going through it again would be a way for me to go, okay, let's see. That's why that's there. I just wasn't paying attention to that properly. I didn't see that right. I didn't pick up on that. I didn't put these two together. He obviously talked to that person because there was one that took me a while, and this is the only internet thing that I looked up, and it was not about a person. somebody called somebody something. And I said, okay, out of everything else everybody is saying, I've got those slangs. But this, I don't know what this means. What does this word mean? I looked the bitch up, and it wasn't even an Urban Dictionary slang. It was a generic slang. And when I saw what it meant, I went, oh, you dumbass. How... Come on, like 4 of the fucking letters are in there, dude. How did you get that wrong? And I was like, okay, so obviously he was talking about this person. Check that off the list.
Yeah, I've thrown a couple things into Google Translate.
Right. Right. Same thing for that. Pay attention to who's using what language and who's talking to using. Okay. So for a while, I was really only using the 2 portraits. The portrait of them playing, them gambling and everything, and the portrait of them shooting. I saw the picture in between that had the fucking Chinese people all lined up, and I was like, oh, you dumbass, that was right there the whole time. So now you know who those are, and other clues made all those names make sense. It took me, man, I was close to the 40 mark before I pulled the map. This is when I want to say... The game started driving me to a desperation, but it really wasn't. It should not have been that way. It should have been, you should have been doing this from the get-go. I pulled the map up and then simultaneously was using the map itself and the cycle series of events. And I said, okay, when this happened, the boat was here. When this happened, the boat was here. When this happened, the boat was here. Now I know what the fuck happened to these 4 people. The boat was here at this point. Okay, so these are the only 2 options available for if this would have happened. And I would ride with that. I all kind of shit like that where I was like, okay, this makes sense. And then something come along or I saw something else and went, I'm completely wrong. The reason why those haven't checked off at all is because I was not even on the right path. They did this, they did this, they talked to this, they did that. Click, click, click. Oh, 3 of them went off.
Yeah, that's how it went for me. Once I realized how off I was on the one disappearance, I went back and revisited the others, and I was like, all right, now I kind of have an idea. I need to go check these things. And sure enough, I was like, okay, well, and that's where, some of my other ones came from at the later stage.
As a person,
and I am...
Yeah, go ahead.
And I am 9 hours in as well. So 9 hours for the 36.
Right. As somebody, Chris, I completely sympathize and I understand because I not only have been in that game and been in that same situation in this game, but I've had multiple games. I use Zelda as a perfect reference because that's a first early time in my life where that shit happened, where I'm in an area and I'm like, I cannot figure this fucking puzzle out. And there are some. This is what I'm getting at here. There are some puzzles in Zelda. There are some puzzles that have happened in video games where it's like, how was I supposed to know that? What context clue did you give me? And it's like, well, it's this one little, like, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Zelda 1 is a prime example. I think there were hints and clues given to the different thing. Okay, better yet, let's use a real prime example. Castlevania 2. Belmont. Whoa! I can hear a fucking Jughead right now. You don't remember the name? The Castlevania 2? Simon's Quest. Whew. I almost Googled it, but I didn't. There are things. So the poor translation is definitely a big hit for that game. But there are things where, like, you need to take this item and go over here and kneel down for 10 seconds, which makes this thing open up, and you're like, how in the absolute fuck is somebody supposed to know that? Mylon's Secret Castle, if you want to go an even further step up a ladder, there is shit in there that's like, you physically have to have a player's guide to know what to do. And we're talking like per puzzle, not per stage, per puzzle. It's like, well, you obviously have to take the ball and put it against the wall and jump up here 3 times and then press start on your controller and then move to the left and then climb the ladder, and that'll get that kind of shit. That is not what Obra Dinn is. Nothing in Obra Dinn is like that. All of it is, you've got to fucking, everything is there. everything is there. And the more that I went back into areas and got less and less of a mind frame of I've got this memory to I'm a fucking expert. I can tell you some shit. I can tell you what clothes are going to be hanging on the window, on the wall. I can tell you what the window's going to look like. There wasn't anything. There were a couple context clues here and there where it's like, oh, I didn't look at the floor and count the wood. There was none of that shit. It was more like, oh, I didn't notice that little detail before. Let me pull the people up. That belongs to that person. Oh, stuff like that. That's all this game was about. Mm-hmm. So as somebody who's been there, not only here, but other games, I completely sympathize with you. I totally get it. And I've had those experiences in this game where it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I think there was one day where I shut the game off at night. I'd already been playing for about 2 hours, no progress. Came back the next day, woo, fucking flipping through the house. Can't wait to get back to Obra Dinn. Made no fucking progress from 4:30 to 11:30 at night. No progress. It's like, wow, fucked man. Do I want to quit this game? Do I want to cheat this game? Came back the next day. Let me just go to another area. Look at some stuff. Game opened. That's what my experiences was like. And yeah, it's there, man. I hope you continue, but it's your life, man. It's your game. If it's getting too bullshit and you don't want to go on, that's fine. But if you want to know, everything is there. I can't, unless I physically went back and played the game over again, I can't lay out every single one, but I know every time I saw something, it was that was given there, which pointed to that and showed me that. That's why that's like that. And even the ones that I was sure of, when I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me it was this instead? Show me. And I went back and went, oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. You're right. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, so getting back to the graphic side of thing, that adds kind of a additional layer of difficulty in certain areas.
Yeah.
Because there is no discerning color. So it's like, okay, well, I literally had a point in the game where I had this scene up and I had to listen to it and read it a couple times before I went, is that what that's supposed to be? Because it did not look like what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me put this in. And it just happened to be the third in a set. So it triggered and I was like, okay, that's bullshit. Because I literally cannot tell on my screen that that's what that is. Yeah. I still have one person. I see the moment they die. I have no idea what the cause of death is.
Huh.
Because I'm like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Now, there is something that, there is an option I've considered that may be, what it is. But until I get to that, I know we're right. I can't really go and test it. But I'm like, all right, well, I just guess I'll put this as this death, even though I don't think this is it, because none of the descriptors really fit. So I'm like, okay, I'll come back to that one. I put a pin in it, move on, because graphically, I cannot tell what is happening because this looks like ass.
Oh, man, this is so great. I really hope you finish this game, man, because I think I know there were a few deaths, just like with the thing I mentioned earlier, where it was like, I'm looking at this. This is, I'm pulling up the deaths. 4 of these make sense, but really, if you're looking at this, there's one obvious thing that must have happened. And the game's like, you need to look somewhere else. And days later, I went somewhere else and pulled something else up and went, oh, fucking duh. It's, oh, wow. Okay, got you. Okay, game. All right, you're right. Can't really knock you.
Like there's a fire in the game, but it took me way longer than it should have for me to go, oh, that's what fire looks like in this game. Because it looks like ass. So that has been such a hurdle for me to not be able to tell what something is that I'm looking straight at. I have context clues and it's going, yeah, that's fire. And I'm like, that's not fire. That's just a little squiggle right there. That does not look anything like fire. Like I would think of fire. If I had to draw an outline of fire, that's not what I'm looking at here. It's like this graphic set is garbage.
Well, I will say, I don't know. I don't want to defend the graphics too much. I immediately got over the aesthetic alone was already making me like, oh, come on. What are you trying to do here? You're trying to do some fucking retro wireframe bullshit. Oh, look at me. I'm a two-tone wireframe retro game. Ooh, boy. And then I started playing the game and said, I don't give a fuck about the graphics anymore.
Yeah. And I actually,
go ahead.
Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday when I first started playing, or actually I might have even been playing for a little bit before. I was like, you know what? I've been playing the game for a while with this one graphic set. Let me go flip through them and see if there's another one that might look a little bit better and I can discern things a little bit more on them. You know, the different colors pop in different ways. Mm-hmm. I cycled through them and I was like, nope, 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 nope. Got back to the one I was already on. I was like, all right, I guess this is the one I'm using because it's the only one I can tolerate.
Yeah. For what I will say in defense of the game, and I'll specifically point out the fire one because I know the one you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And this may as well help you as it did with me. Maybe it'll help you find somebody else's clue out. Start using that timeline a lot. Start using that this happened. Because what I was first doing was trying to go body to body to body to body in any order or a specific order. You know, I'd go from the top of the ship from front to back, next level, front, whatever. Or I'd just start randomly doing it. I would only go through the bodies and I'd only use the book when it came to show me your face, show me what I know about you, show me your time of death. When I started using, and guys, it's such fucking like Dark Souls, man. When I started using the book, the way that it's like, look, we give you all these options. And I'm like, you don't give me options. You give me other shit to play with. And like, we give you lots of options. Like this timeline where you can show people's steps in the game that they took. We can show you where people were. We can show you exactly what happened in the timeline of events. I started looking at the timeline. If you look at the scene where the fire is happening, I'll give you that. Okay.
Real quick. Let's, spoiler free, what are you talking about with timeline in this context? Like, what are you doing control-wise or etc. to see what you're referring to?
There is a section of the book or a tab that lets you go... actually, you know what? I'll do you one better. The beginning of every chapter has I think it has like a picture of the map.
Yeah.
And so when you flip through the chapter by chapter, it'll show you like where the boat is in that time.
Right.
And if you go through if you find a person and you go to their moment of death, or actually when you click on their face, it'll show you a bunch of options, and one of those is show me their steps through the ship, or show me their timeline, or something like that. And that will show you on a diagram where those people were. You can infer when those moments happened, where their face was seen, where they were present. It'll be like a X and a X to a X to a X to a X to whatever. It'll show you like they were here, and then they were here, and then for this event they were here. They didn't go to this event. They weren't part of this event. They weren't a part of this event, but they were part of this event, and they were here when that happened. So you can use that as a clue.
So you're talking about the show memories on deck maps.
Exactly.
Okay.
So using the fire graphic as an example, yes, if you were thrust into that scene and saw that, I'll agree with you. The fire didn't look like fire. I would challenge you to make fire accurately in a still frame with wireframes. But just that aside, if you go to the next event back it clearly shows you why fire is there. So you can go, okay, well, they did this. This is obviously fire. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that one. And like I said, pretty much, I mean, that's how I know it was fire, because I went and saw the context to it. It wasn't that I just figured that was fire. It was like, something's going on here. And then I went back, like you said, check the time. I didn't use the boat timeline. I just went to the, previous memory in the part or in the chapter. Mm-hmm. And it, there's some dialogue and some action that showed me, okay, that's fire. Yeah. And there have been a couple others that, clarify, like the one I had no idea what it was for a very long time until I finally, put two and two together with like one line of dialogue. Mm-hmm. I was like, is that and here's the other thing about that is because the
Welcome
dialogue
to the Obra Dinn cast. I love this.
The dialogue and what you're seeing on screen didn't really make sense. Mm-hmm. In the sense of how they got from point A to point B, and no other memory really showed that transition between point A to point B.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, well, they mentioned this, so clearly this is maybe the best option based on the dialogue, so I'll select it. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was right. So it's like, that could have been probably a little bit better done, and, how that scene was drawn.
Yeah.
Because it was like, this doesn't make sense with what they were doing. But I understand the end result, just not how they got there. And I guess how they got there wasn't important in this context, which it usually is.
Yeah.
But in this context, it wasn't really important. So it's like, okay. But it's one of those things where, again, if it was a better graphic set, would have been no problem getting there.
See, that's where I want to take this discussion. Unless you have other points to talk about playing it for your week.
No.
Okay. Can you imagine, Chris, this game right here, another reason why I believe that it made Game of the Year or nominations or whatever. And please, oh God, please, audience, just bombard me with other games that are just like this. Please fill my life with these, because I didn't know I love these until I played this one. But can you imagine, it's not the graphics, Chris, but the premise of this game spewed out across other genres. Mm-hmm. Imagine just like this. Fucking Mass Effect picks this up. You're in the Mass Effect universe. 60 fucking people aboard whatever ship are dead. What the fuck happened? And they give enough context clues for people that don't play Mass Effect to know this is what a Krogan's like. This is what a Solarian is like. These are the temperaments of these people. These people have this uniform, so they're part of this part of the ship, of the Normandy or whatever. It's just horror games. You run into a horror scene. Oh man, we had to get called in for this thing, and then we get there and a fucking Resident Evil scene is going down, or went down, and you have to investigate why, how it happened. This idea, the way that they've done it, not only should it be out there for other genres, but yes, as well as the graphics too. Because imagine the graphics settings. You get this age of graphics details with the scene, whatever you're looking at. You could pan the camera around and see the detail in the blood droplets. I do remember reading where the creator of this game made mention that another reason why he chose, it's a small reason, but a reason why he chose this low fidelity graphic detail is, faces, for instance, he wanted to keep the faces visible, but not pixel perfect to the poor recognizable. Mm-hmm. Makes the mystery a little bit more difficult. And I guess I would need to see a game that has full fucking this gen console graphics detail to go, okay, yeah, that actually makes the game easier, because I don't know. Like, I can look at the captain and a seaman, as long as I can see them pretty close and go, those are two different people. I can clearly see their faces look different. But not every character in Obra Dinn gets to be seen multiple times. there are characters that only get to be seen once, and it's only when they're dead, and that's okay for that guy. That's all you needed. But again, if I saw that death scene and had a super graphic detail, all you're going to know is that's the face of that person that died. You still have to use other clues to figure out who they are and so on and so forth. But yeah, man, this idea, this game type right here, I would love to see more of this. And we could talk about how they could improve it, how they could change it, but I tell you right now, I think the amount that went on here was just right for me. 60 people, 60 deaths, 60 causes. I mean, again, I only got like 12, 13 hours out of this game, and I swear to God, it felt way longer than that. It felt way longer. So, would I want this game with 120 people? I don't know. I'd have to see that. I'd have to play it and find out if that's too much. Also, the scale. Okay, so a ship only had 5 levels. That's a pretty small area to figure shit out for. Now put 120 people in a Grand Theft Auto 5 city. I don't know. Would it be fun? I would think it would be fun, but would it be? You're literally playing a detective at that point. I think it would take you days just to get one person. I don't know if that amount of investigation is what I want. I think this amount of people and this size setting work just fine for me.
Yeah, I don't know when I will pick it up again. I think tonight I'm going to mess around in Magic because it's already pretty late for me, being East Coast. But I don't know what I'm going to play this weekend because I do want to finish Obra Dinn, but it's hard to justify at the moment in my mind sitting there accomplishing almost nothing for a while when I could be playing something else. But we'll see. I did have one other game I played a little bit of. This is a last minute addition to my week because I had about an hour-ish before we were going to start recording, which isn't enough time to really do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? And I had read an article earlier talking about the Mortal Kombat 11 microtransactions and changes are going to be made, and they're going to give a bunch of currency and stuff to people to help kind of give an economy boost to players. So I was like, I don't know if it's going to be active players or not, so let me go ahead and install Mortal Kombat 11 and log in. So I did that and then closed the game out. But then while I was waiting, I was like, you know what? Let's just look at what Mortal Kombat 11 looks like. I'm not going to do any story stuff. I'm just going to hop into the game and just look. So I went in, looked at the menus, and I was like, oh, there's a tutorial. I'll just go mess around in the tutorial for a bit. This game looks amazing. And it's a fighting game. It's it's kind of baffling to see a game of this quality and go, yeah, this is a fighting game. And from what I've heard, the story is actually really good. So I'm looking forward to playing through that. That's another option. Maybe I'll do that this weekend, but I'm trying not to bounce from game to game. I'm trying to, go through ones I've already done. By playing some of the tutorial stuff, I'm not a fighting game person. I'm not good at fighting games. So as part of the basic tutorial, which is broken out into multiple tiers, but part of the basic tutorial is to do this combo. And I spent like 10 minutes trying to get this combo, and I was like, you know what, let me go see what other tutorials there are. Because I can't do this one stupid combo. My fingers will not hit the button and the right thing. And they do have a mode where you hit, it's back on the Xbox controller, which is what I'm using. But you press the button and it'll show you what happens, and it actually has a input display of a controller, and it'll show you the buttons being pressed on it while things are happening on screen. This is an amazing tutorial system, and
right. All right.
From what I've seen and heard, it gets even better because it goes into like super advanced fighting game techniques, like frame windows for when you can block attacks, and actually breaks down animations and shows you, okay, from this point to this point, you can block during this animation. This is how you predict what, quote unquote, predict what is going to happen because you're just seeing it and that's triggering your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very, very in-depth tutorial thing. After I got stuck on that basic combo, I saw, there's a section for characters. So let me go take a look at it. For every character, there are a set of moves that walks you through these. It's like, these are the basic combos for this character. Do them all for that character, you unlock a skin for that character. So straight off the bat, you can unlock a skin for every character you have unlocked just by going and doing the tutorial thing. So I'm like, okay, this is a really cool form of progression. I'm learning. I say I'm learning. I'm really not. I'm just mashing buttons like it tells me. And then I'll mash buttons through the game itself. But it's really neat. And like I said, it looks great. Having the face like at the intro screen or on one of the menu selection, can't remember which one it was, but there's a face of one of the, characters. And I'm just sitting there looking, and I'm like, man, that is detailed. That is good.
Nice.
It's kind of like Spider-Man. How you sit there just on the loading screen and you're like, man, Spider-Man looks really good. This environment looks really good. It's that same kind of feeling when I look at Mortal Kombat 11, just at the, title screen or one of the menus. And then you get into the game, and of course it's kind of zoomed out, so you don't get the, same level of detail, but still looks great. So I'm really looking forward to the story. This is the first Mortal Kombat I've played since, I don't know, 4, 3.
Yeah.
Some combo trilogy thing, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to revisit Mortal Kombat. It's amusing to see everything, spelled with a K instead of a C as per Mortal Kombat. It's like, yeah, of course, I would expect no less from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nostalgia to it. Yeah, so
that's
we'll
good,
see.
Man. It's good to see that it's coming up and continuing to go up. Mortal Kombat was a household name, and I feel like it fell to the wayside. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, fighting audience. Let me know where I'm wrong, but I feel like Mortal Kombat kind of took a backseat for a while. I guess after 4, kind of went, what's this? But it's up there. I mean, tournament level quality. It's up there. Good.
Yeah.
And
I think 10 spiked it back up in popularity.
Oh yeah, especially with the story, with the campaign mode being as well as it was. Fuck that. As good as it is, it's still good. It's definitely worth a watch, a playthrough, what have you. But I was gonna say something else. I forgot. Shit. Oh well. I'm happy for Mortal Kombat. Period. I'll leave you, audience, tonight, or we'll leave you, because I know Chris agrees with this. I say a little public service announcement. I realize this doesn't mean shit right now, because we don't have like thousands of audience members, and you may be listening to this in 2022, so it doesn't matter to you, but when it comes to movies, period, but especially with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially with toning down, specifying even further down to Avengers Endgame, don't be a dick. Don't spoil that shit, man. Again, this is a moment in time that some people are never going to get back. And it's okay if it's a movie, folks. It's okay if people find joy and excitement and happiness in a movie. Doesn't matter where you get your joy or excitement or happiness from. It just, as long as you're having it, that's what counts. Is this movie going to be great? I hope so. Am I excited for this movie? Is Chris excited for this movie? You better fucking believe we are. Is this a world-altering movie? Maybe not, but it will hopefully be super fucking awesome. This franchise as a whole is going to shape how people do things. Look at DC. DC's already trying, There's great things about this movie. This movie will not be as important as my first child's birth. Okay, I'm not that fanatical. This movie will not be as important as the first time that I beat Ornstein and Smo in Dark Souls single-handedly. It won't conquer that, but it's still a very important movie in its own level of importance, and that's great. And it's the same for a lot of people. Don't spoil that for people. I had somebody message me a few days ago and said, man, on Facebook Messenger, said, man, I just had the movie spoiled. And this is somebody, a coworker that I've been talking to many people about this movie and hyping it up and getting in that mind frame, that fucking zeitgeist with all kind of people. And this is one of them. And he was like, man, I had the movie ruined for me. I was like, oh, no, what did you do? And he was like, no, I was talking to my brother, and my brother got overly excited, and he let a couple things slip out, and it spoiled it, and it sucks. And I'm like, oh, man. He's like, I'm still going to see it. I just kind of need to vent right now. I just want to tell somebody. I was like, man, that sucks. I feel you. And that can happen. People just get so, and they fucking spit out, and I get that. There are devious, intentional ways that people are fucking with people. That really pisses me off. I was reading somewhere where a guy was talking about, it was like, those stories on Twitter or Facebook where you're scrolling through and you see some crazy video like a dog with a baseball bat in his mouth, and he looks like he's hitting a baseball, and the video's like, watch my fucking awesome dog hit a baseball better than I can, huh? And you're like, oh, okay, I'll watch this funny little 15-second video. And he popped the video up, and it was a half a second of that, and immediately went to a cam spoiler of the ending of the movie. And he didn't look away fast enough, and he had the whole movie spoiled for him. Shit like that. That's devious, and that's intentional. You can combat this on your own. Stay the fuck off social media. Stay off of all that stuff. I remember Michael talking about, Huber talking about, if I see two people walking down the street talking, I cover my ears. I feel you. At that level, honestly, I feel you. I am not, this is something me and my wife are going to talk about when we physically go to the movie tomorrow night. I am not going to be lackadaisically walking through that theater, because there will be people in that theater that have already seen it. And they're either there talking about it, or they're leaving the theater, and people can't help it. You remember that time when fucking Hulk gave Thor a hand job? It's like, well, fuck, are you? I'm literally walking in the movie right now. I'm walking it in the movie, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro. So remember that other time when?" It's people can't help it. They're either doing it on purpose, or they're just so overly excited they can't help it. So we are going to, as much as humanly possible, fucking avoid people and talk amongst ourselves and try to carry on conversation while we bleed out everybody. We may listen to fucking music. I may do that. I may go that level, because it's important, and you kind of gotta fucking defend or combat against this shit these days. You really do. If you go on social media, that's on you. If you see shit that somebody posts and they're intentionally doing it, that's on them. But if you see like a poster and you're like, oh man, I know Captain America's new outfit. Well, I mean, that was on the poster. That's on you. But it's vicious, man. I don't know what movie is going to come out now or after this that's going to be that important. I don't know many movies that are coming out this year, Chris, that I really, really am fired up to go see. I do want to see Godzilla King of Monsters, just so I can get an idea of how they can make a Shadow of the Colossus video game. But other than that, I don't know. This is going to be kind of a tap out for the year for me. But in any series that comes up, or any movie that comes up, man, you just got to be aware of this stuff, man. It's not just people out there putting posters or trailers. It's people out there with devious intent going, ha, I spoiled that movie for you. I am not about to let somebody spoil 10 fucking years of build up. I can't. That's fisticuffs. That's bad. It's real bad. You're really going to get in a fight over a movie? It's not just about that it's a movie. I mean, that's pretty shitty. I guess you've kept yourself pretty spoiler free, huh? I hope so anyway.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I think it was this morning or yesterday afternoon. I've been trying to get better about using Twitter and stuff when it comes to streaming and whatnot. And I was like, I could just avoid it, but I don't want to avoid all social media.
Right.
It's not. I can't do that in good conscience. So I went on and actually set filters to block spoiler. So that would cover spoiler and spoiler free. And I blocked endgame. Before I did that, the only things I'd seen was basically someone telling what their reaction to seeing the movie was, which didn't spoil anything. That's just their reaction to the movie. And then the other one was a fake, like, haha, you idiot's supposed to spoiler. Here's a fake spoiler for you, one of those people.
Yeah.
Those are the only things I ran into before I just blocked it. And I've been barely looking at Twitter. I only looked at Twitter long enough to really keep an eye on the news.
Yeah.
I use TweetDeck, and I actually have a column with a bunch of gaming companies and like Kotaku and others, some publications in it to kind of see what they're posting news-wise, because that's not going to... Well, let me rephrase. There's a pretty good chance that won't contain a spoiler at this point. They're usually pretty good about putting obvious spoilers later, once the movie's been out for a while. Though that is a concern. So I kept it to a minimum and really only checked so I'd have enough to, make sure there wasn't anything else to talk about today.
Yeah. And I know Chris has seen it, but I put a post on Facebook a few days ago. Yep, I'm off. Done.
Yeah.
And that was actually the night that guy messaged me and was like, yeah, this is this. And I was like, well, yeah, it's time to fucking bounce. Today, since today was the last day, I'm going to be presently in front of a bunch of people. I do have a double date to go on tomorrow and some grocery shopping, and I've got some defense maneuvers I'm gonna have to play the majority tomorrow. But since I'm at work around a bunch of people that have varying degrees of care about this series, somebody came in because the movie came out. Last night. Officially, the movie came out last night at like 6 or 7 or 8 or something our time. Somebody came in. It was me, my coworker, and a couple other coworkers. We were discussing some work stuff, and the guy come in and said, "Woo, man, I saw it." And I was like, "Shut up. Shut up." He's like, all right, I just want to tell you what I thought about." No. If any other day after today, we will talk. Today is D-Day. I will leave the fucking room. He's like, "Oh, okay." I'm that level. If that's too intense for you, fine. That's okay. Do what you want to do. But me, get away. Not today.
Yeah,
Not.
I saw someone. This was a couple weeks ago, but it really kind of set me off because they made a post like, "Oh, you're all worried about spoilers. Well, this is my social media feed. I'm going to post what I want to talk about." I'm like, that's a real crappy attitude to have.
Yes.
People read your stuff and nah. So it's like there are some basic etiquette things to follow. If you want to talk about it, there are ways to, kind of spoiler tag your stuff. And like with Facebook, you can add a certain number of line breaks and it will literally make it to where nobody can see it unless they click to see it,
Yep.
At least on most platforms. I'm sure some it doesn't work 100%, but it's a good method to at least try. Yeah. And I appreciate people that go through that effort to try.
Yes. Yes. Well, folks, the time has arrived. How excited are you for Marvel's Avengers Endgame? How caught up on this franchise? Are you bleeding edge? You've seen every movie in the theater, damn near opening night. Did you just get caught up recently? Like you spent the last 2 weeks watching all the movies when your free time? Are you spotty? Did you only just watch just the Avengers movies and you got a pretty good grasp? Are you the part of the cool crowd that does not care about the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all? We'd love to hear from all that. I'd love to know, spoiler free, because I mean, again, I'm seeing the movie tomorrow. We're 7 to 8 to 9, 20, 26, 25 hours and 45 minutes away from me seeing this movie. I'm not going to threaten my fucking audience. I'm not that guy, but I'm just going to say this and leave it at that. Do not spoil that fucking movie for me or Chris or anybody else in our audience. Don't do that. Just don't, period. But if you want to discuss everything before this movie and talk about your hype, your excitement, I mean, folks, you got to remember, somebody may have equated this. I think maybe Michael Huber may have said this, or maybe I'm just inferring it myself. I don't know if it's real or not, but you got to think this is like Star Wars. Okay, this is like Star Wars back in the 80s. This is the world needs to stop for just a minute for this movie. It's that level of hype, of build up, of all kind of shit. So I'd love to hear your excitement. I love to hear why you're excited, what you're happy about, what you're looking forward to. If you want a theory craft, even if it's theory crafting, I'd still politely ask that you label that somehow, like my big fan theory coming below. That's still like that. If you are going back to the very beginning of this episode, if you are a comic book aficionado, if you are a dedicated comic book fan, and you want to bash the MCU or talk about the good things it's done or just discuss the MCU period from your dedicated comic book mindset, I'd love to hear that too. Have you been playing Sekiro? Did you have a lesson learned like me? Or relearned, I guess? That's what it needs to be. I relearned a lesson, because this is not the first time Sekiro's taught me something, but have you traipsed through the floors of the Obra Dinn? Do you know the mystery? You better keep that shit spoiler free, but yeah, talk about that too. Anything at all, gaming, anime, comics, any of that, movies, TV shows. I'm already going to check out Gotham because Chris has pretty much told me I'm going to, but by all means, let me know more. Tell me more about Gotham. You will be another of multiple people that are like, dude, this shit's good. So, yeah, tell me why. Anything you'd like to discuss. We love to hear from you, audience. And there are many ways that you can get a hold of us. You can go to Facebook and search for End of Time Cast. It'll take you to our Facebook page, and it may be how you found this episode right here. We have an email address. You can email us at endoftimecast@gmail.com. That's endoftimecast@gmail.com. No funny numbers in there. Just spell it as you heard it. We have a Twitter page. You can tweet us. You can retweet us. You can find us on Facebook. Congratulations to me, except for this episode, which as of right now is being recorded. I have all current episodes of the End of Time Cast finally finished and fully uploaded to YouTube. As of right now, that's 88. This will make 89, so you can find all these episodes on YouTube. You can leave comments there as well. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes. There's all sorts of places that you can simultaneously listen to us, possibly download or comment. So many ways to get a hold of us. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to have some back and forth. Not only would you probably get your email read on here, but just, again, that banter back and forth of any of this stuff is what we're all about. So that's going to do it for tonight's episode. Man, these next hours, I swear, they're going to fucking drag. They're going to drag. But hopefully not. I can't wait. Can't wait. That's going to do it for tonight's episode. And until next time, I'm Michael.
And I'm Chris.
Good night, everybody.